Hey everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. It's great to have you with us today all around the world. Hope you guys are doing well. And thanks for joining us. A special time today. We are live exclusively on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. This is our entertainment lifestyle talk show series that we've been doing for 26 weeks now. It's really hard to believe it's been 26 weeks of episodes, well over 175 episodes of our exclusive entertainment lifestyle talk show series. And what fun it has been with all of you around the world. Thanks for all the terrific comments, all the love, all the support. We're having lots of levity on this show, lots of positivity, lots of inspiration on the show as we broadcast globally around the world. And we have a very special episode today. One of my dear friends, international, fabulous classical and Irish flautist, Eimear McGeown, is here on the show, live and direct from London, England. She's going to play for us as well. We're going to talk about some of the cool things that she's working on. We're going to share some of the phenomenal projects and productions that she's been a part of as well. We've had opportunities actually to work together, which is really cool, through our dear friend Tim Janis, with a couple of different productions, one at Carnegie Hall through Tim's phenomenal An American Christmas Carol event, which is usually done each year, and that's to raise funds for actress Kate Winslet's autism research-related foundation and charity, which is the Golden Hat Foundation. And I've emceed many of those wonderful events, and Eimear has performed as a brilliant flautist there on stage at Carnegie Hall. And then also about a year ago, we were all up in Maine filming a public television special called Celtic Heart, which was really, really cool. And that was with Tim and Renee Nesbitt and the Harp Twins and Lynn Hillary. I mean, it was an amazing opportunity to really do something very special and create this beautiful production, which is aired on public television in the United States, called Celtic Heart. Other segments were filmed in Ireland as well. So we've been friends for a long time. We've gone out to eat with the gang. We've done a lot of cool things, and it's a pleasure to welcome her to the show. She is absolutely brilliant and a beautiful person inside and out. She is one of the top flautists in Europe, and she's so dedicated to the craft as well. And she loves presenting music, and we are so excited to have her here on the show. First, let's welcome some of the folks who are watching live right now on our YouTube channel. Christine Clifton, greetings, Jim and lovely friends. We welcome Eimear McGeown to the show today. Looking forward to a great conversation with amazing music. Absolutely. Alessandro is watching. Hello, good to see you, Alessandro. Juanita is here from South Africa. Nice to see you, Juanita. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific today. 8 p.m. Western European time. So it's 8 p.m. right now where she is in London, as well as in Scotland and Ireland. That's why we're doing the show earlier. Ann Harriskin watching in Southern California. Hello, everyone. Happy to be with you on this beautiful Monday. Good to see you as well. Kathy Short, good afternoon, all. Good to see you too. Fortnite Gaming is here. Good to see you as well, Raphael. And Ann Wozniak is here. Good afternoon, Jim and everyone. Good to see you, Anne. And Willie is watching in Holland. Hello, dear friends. What a good time, Jim. Good to see you here as well. We're so happy to have you here live on the show. Mary Bishop is here as well. Hello, Jim. And Eimear and my lovely friends working for today's show. Just wanted to say hi. Good to have you with us as well. So it's good to have all of you here on the show and then some. And hope you guys are doing well. It is the start of the week. It is a Monday. We've got a big election day happening here tomorrow in the United States. So wish us luck with that. But in the meantime, we are going to present some wonderful, fantastic music and so much more with my fantastic guest. Again, she is extraordinary. She is renowned and she is super talented. And here's just a few photos just to show you really quickly. This was when we were all in Maine with Tim and the Harp Twins and Renee and everybody here, Lynn Hillary. You see me on the extreme left, and then in that incredible red gown is Eimear. She's there and with her flute in hand as well. And this was on stage in Maine when filming the Celtic Heart special. And this also, of course, Carnegie Hall, as she has performed Carnegie Hall with Tim's incredible special and so much more. And lots of cool photos we're going to show you here. We'll talk about them in just a minute. But first, let's welcome my very special guest, live and direct from London. It's good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. It's actually, I've been looking forward to this all weekend. And it's actually just nice to connect in some way, even if it's not in person. It's nice to be able to do that over a video and see your big smiley face. So nice to see.
The Irish is popping out. Absolutely. We even got the Irish green, the Irish font colors, the whole bit. How have you been, my friend? I know it's, a little crazy right now. People are sort of held up at home and I know Ireland just had the phase 5 of those COVID restrictions in place. And Europe, I believe you were telling me Thursday, they're going to implement in England some restrictions as well. How have you been, and how have you been staying creative and connecting through all of this craziness of this year, my friend?
Well, I kind of went through a lot of phases. The first phase was in March when we first went into lockdown, and I had some lung problems that I had actually planned to take a month off. So the timing couldn't have been better at the start. So I had planned to take off the 19th of March, because my birthday is actually the 18th of March. And St. Patrick's Day is the 17th of March. So it's always a big festival and loads of concerts, and it's a busy, crazy time. So I thought I'll try and get through that with my lungs kind of half working. But I thought then after that, I'll take a rest. So then I was saying to my friends, I'm going to miss all of you guys because I'm not going to see you for a month. And then so I prepared to not see everyone for a while. And then lockdown just happened, completely coinciding. So actually, the first month was brilliant. I just rested and relaxed and did nothing, which I never do, because as a musician, you're constantly on the road. You're constantly practicing for the next thing. So it was actually kind of a guilt-free month that I didn't have to feel bad about. So the first month was good. Then it hit Easter time, and I started getting really sort of,
anxious. Yeah.
Yes, and what's the future holding? What should we do? I find it I was really restless, and I was like, right, I need to find something to do. And then I guess people started doing things online, because we realized that we didn't really have any other option, that it was going to be longer than we thought. So when the lockdown was extended, then I said, right, okay. I started doing some projects, some online videos, concerts, and things like that. And then eventually we came out of lockdown. We stopped, I think, in July. They stopped the lockdown. And then some concerts started happening again, but not all of them, because obviously the majority of my stuff, I was actually supposed to be in America. Every August I go to America with a group called Libera. And we normally tour for about 3 weeks. And obviously that was cancelled. And then I also had a festival in Ireland that's usually a week cancelled. And the more things kept getting cancelled, the more the reality hit that this is going to be a long time. And, obviously we all need to do what needs to be done to make sure that everyone's health is important. So of course everyone wants to do that, but your mind is struggling with the reality of it and trying to find ways to be creative. So I applied for an Arts Council award. And so I am collaborating with a classical pianist who's she's Chinese, but she's an international soloist. And so online we are doing an online collaboration where she also has her background of her traditional Chinese music. I have my background of Irish music, but we're both classically trained as well. So the collaboration, the idea of it was that we were able to bring our own classical backgrounds, but are also our own cultures and traditions together. So I am in the middle of that. So I have to compose a piece. I don't have to, but this was my proposal for the award.
Yeah.
So I compose a piece that has some Irish links and some Chinese links. So I'm listening to Chinese music and trying to get the understanding of their side of it, the way they play. And then I'm also learning some Chinese music on the Irish flute. and the bamboo flute, so that it's just opening up a new avenue that we're exploring together. So that's been something that's ongoing. It's a long-term project that that I'm doing at the moment. And then when the lockdown opened in July, when we stopped the lockdown in the UK, I actually organised Irish music sessions, gigs in pubs. So the pub will pay for 3 musicians to perform, and then you can normally we'd then just, it's like a community feel, and we just invite loads of people to come join us. And
Cool.
It was always about, you know, the whole point was a community environment, and that's, you know, the tradition of Ireland. When we were, you know, years and like long time ago, you'd start playing Irish music, and it would be, you share it with people, and it's very much a community thing. So whenever lockdown was stopped in July, we were allowed to play the gigs, but unfortunately we were the rules were different. So you couldn't have like a load of people, because you had to be social distancing. You had to make sure that you couldn't, I think we were only like 6 people. So like sometimes pre-COVID, we would have like sometimes like 15 to 20 people sitting around this table in a pub playing Irish music together. And unfortunately we had to only have 6. So I actually find it really quite difficult to have to say to people, sorry, you know, you can't join us. And, you know, it was, you know, the whole point of the community fee felt like it was, I couldn't be that. So, but it was great to play Irish music again. So we were, you know, it felt like I was actually performing live in some ways. Not quite, you know, the concert halls and the tours, but, you know, being able to at least play live in real life again without, I think it was actually really nice, and real people that were right there. So that was nice. We were very lucky to have that.
Well, on this show, everybody who is a viewer calls themselves a Lovety. They call me Mr. Lovety, and they welcome the guest from around the world, whoever it is, and no matter what their background is or what their field of endeavor is, they welcome them into Lovety Hall. So you, my friend of many years, are now a Lovety on the Jim Masters Show Live. And here's some of that Lovety coming your way from some of the viewers. Christine Clifton, who's in the United States and North Carolina, says, welcome to you to the Jim Masters Show Live. You are now a Lovety. Excited to hear your music soon. Rini Katz, who's also a performer. That's a really cool combination of instruments and styles that you just described. Alessandro says the best sessions in London.
I know Alessandro. He comes to the Irish sessions. He plays the boron, do you know, the Irish drum?
Oh, yeah.
Plays the tin whistle, so he comes to our sessions in London.
Cool. Rini says, so excited that you're here. She's a former flute player and loves a really good player. Well, you found one right here. Anne in California says, glad you are here. She's welcoming you as well. Merlin, who's in Canada, Innerkip, Ontario, Canada, she's welcoming you as well, and all the Loveties. And Wozniak welcomes you. Willie, who's in Holland, says, welcome, Eimear, in the Jim Masters Show, the best show in the world. We thank you for that. She actually sent me some stroopwafels. You ever have a stroopwafel from the Netherlands?
Oh, nice.
They're good. Yeah, she sent a case of them for my birthday in September from the Netherlands. It was incredible. They didn't last very long. Juanita, who's in South Africa watching live, she greets you as well. And this is great. I mean, so many people that are greeting you. Kathy Short is greeting you as well, and Harriskin, and all these great people who are here. Christine as well again. Mary Bishop is here. She's saying hello too. She's in Florida. So you're considered a Lovety now, my friend. Everybody sending their love and welcoming you to the show. Kathy Short says, welcome to the land of Loveties. So a new word, Lovety, here on the Jim Masters Show Live. You and I did a really cool interview, actually, when we were up in Maine and we were working on that Celtic Heart special with Tim and all of our friends. And we were doing sort of that behind the scenes, a couple of interviews there for the bonus footage on the DVD and everything. And I had asked a little bit about your background and the early influences. But for the audience watching around the world here right now, tell us about some of those early inspirations for you and how the flute was the instrument of choice for you early on, and how you really came to fall in love with the flute to the point of being so brilliant at it, my friend.
Oh, you're very kind. I started when I was 7, and it was because I heard the Irish flute. No, I heard the classical flute actually on the radio. So I heard the classical flute, and I was like, oh, I really love that sound. I really love that instrument. So I asked my parents what it was, and could I maybe play it? And so my parents said a few days later, what they did was my mom got me out of bed, and she brought me up to the living room, and basically James Galway was playing on the TV. So she said, is this definitely what you want to play? And I said, definitely, 100% what I want to play. So I knew, like, as soon as I heard it, I knew that's what I wanted to do. So that was a nice feeling that I chose it. And I was like, it wasn't even a thought in some ways, which I like that a lot. And then I actually bought my first flute with my own money, some of my own money. Obviously, it was too expensive for like a child to have pocket money that much, but I had some pocket money and I saved up, and then I bought my first. I helped buy my first flute, so that was fun and nice. And then I guess a couple of years later, me and my sister and brother were playing out in the front garden, and my parents said, oh, we're going to Katie. And I thought Katie was a person's name. And I was like, oh, who's Katie? But it's actually a place in Ireland. And so we all got in the car and we went up to this place called Katie. And anyway, it turned out to be some Irish music lessons in this sort of community hall. Yeah. So there was, some people sitting in the corner learning to whistle. There was some people sitting in another corner, and another room upstairs was another banjo lessons. And it was basically a Friday night group of people come together. So my parents brought us and said, what do you think? Would you want to learn? Because they were very good in the terms that they were very supportive, but they never forced anything on any of us. So we were like, yeah, sounds fun. Like, you get to hang out with some friends and you get to learn music, because it was group classes. And so we did that every Friday night. We'd go up and I played the tin whistle first. So sort of like that one. And then after like maybe a year of playing the tin whistle, I started playing like Irish music on the classical flute. So just the normal silver flute. But then eventually I got the Irish flute, and then I ended up playing Irish music on the Irish flute when I was about, I'd say like maybe 9 or 10, I think. Yeah. So I guess like it was nice that I was able to play both so young at the same time, because I think sometimes people say that if you play classical flute when you're younger, it's really difficult to learn Irish music when you're older, or vice versa. So I think I was very fortunate that I was able to have the opportunity to play both classical and Irish flutes from such a young age, because it's very much being who I am. And even now my career is very much made up of the two in some way, joined together or sometimes separate.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So for you, what were some of the early wonderful opportunities that came your way to perform in front of other people? Did you start out in school, being a part of school plays and different things like that? What were some of the things that sort of put you on that path to moving forward with your career as an extraordinary flautist?
At the beginning, definitely school would have been some of the situations to play maybe in the school concerts, or the school would have little orchestra group or Irish traditional music group. Even I remember in my primary school, it was the president or the president of Ireland came to our school, and I remember there's photos of us in this Irish traditional group at primary school. So we're talking about like, when you're 9 or 10, maybe even younger actually. Yeah, maybe even younger. But yeah, and then also, so the president came, Bill Clinton actually came to Armagh, where I was, and the Prime Minister of England, because the reason being, and this is a slightly sad story, but I'm from Northern Ireland, which is the top bit of Ireland, and it's owned by the UK government. So there's the Republic of Ireland, which is the main part, and then the top bit is owned by UK. So whenever I grew up very much in the middle of what they were called the Troubles. So there were lots of bombs and lots of tragedies and shootings, and so it basically my primary school got blown up by a bomb, but not just the primary school, it was the whole area. So it was like the police station, the church, the primary school, and you know, our house where we live actually. All of the windows that smashed into the front of the house and smashed out of the back of the house because the force of the bomb was so big, so huge. So basically the school was demolished, and then we had, it was, as a kid, you know, thankfully nobody was killed in that particular bomb. We were very lucky, but it meant that everyone came to visit. So the President of Ireland came to visit, the Prime Minister of London, UK came to visit, Bill Clinton came to Armagh. It ended up being a situation where we ended up, like, I have loads of photos of us performing to all these people because of it. But, you know, it's kind of interesting looking back on it. You know, Northern Ireland's come a long way. And, you know, I think there's lots of things that I learned from growing up in that situation. So, you know, it's a sad story, and I don't even know why I brought it up, but
it's part of your history and how you were able to get through that. And has that at all influenced any of your music and your choices growing up, you know, with that environment and experiencing that? Because not everybody, you know, has that kind of experience to share with the world. Yeah, well, interestingly enough, when I moved to London, I moved for a 4-year classical degree. And in my final year, my exam, they basically, they wanted you, as part of the criteria, you had to play a piece that was written in the last 10 years. So I actually decided that I wanted to do something to represent the bomb. And so I composed an Irish piece for the exam, and then we had footage of the school, all like the demolished with even the police, the army inside the school. But we had like footage that the principal of the school, head principal, had taken. So I got like a video documentary behind me, and I played my Irish piece along with it, which was it was a bit about tragedy, but also hope. You know, it was I wanted to acknowledge it and you know, remember that you know, we did go through that, and it was I wanted to play a piece that made me sort of connect with that. And then I thought that was the perfect time, because, you know, I could compose something, and it started me thinking about composing, because I was never trained as a composer. And I still haven't been, and I don't call myself a composer at all, but I have composed a few pieces, just Irish simple ones. But I think it came from, you know, a situation like that where, you know, I had the opportunity to compose something, and then I had the feelings inside from that situation that I wanted to not reflect on, but maybe it is reflect on. I wanted to do something that was like a memory of the situation. Because like we were school children, and, you know, like when the bomb went off, I was 7, and our school, we had a play the next day for Christmas, because it was just before Christmas. So we had the Christmas nativity play the day after the bomb went off, and we never got to do it. So we did all these rehearsals, and then obviously, you know, the school was gone. So I know it's quite, I guess it's important, isn't it, to not forget your past, and right. It's part of who you are, and it makes you the person you are. But yeah, I definitely think I've used that part of me to reflect it in some of the pieces that I play that are, you know, quite, you know, they make you feel like I can use that. I think, Absolutely. You know, a lot of people also get involved with contests, Eurovision and all these different contests. Did you get involved in different, you know, public contests and competitions and those kinds of things along the way as well?
Yeah, so I would have done a lot of competitions from a young child, for sure. And there was one competition in particular that really helped sort of kickstart my career off. It was an Irish pianist called Barry Douglas. He won the Tchaikovsky piano concerto in Russia when he was in his early 20s, and he then had a career of touring the world, and he did that for probably 20-30 years, and then he decided to set up his own orchestra. I think that was probably about 10 years ago, maybe even longer. And he was so good at like wanting to promote and help young artists, and he really made such an effort to support the younger generation, which I really massively appreciate and admire. So he set up a competition called Camerata Ireland Young Musician of the Year. And So the award meant that you could perform as a soloist with his orchestra. And then also I got a TV performance on a RTE, which is the Irish TV channel. I got a concerto written for me that was performed, that I performed in the Library of Congress in Washington. And that was an amazing opportunity, obviously because of the place, but also the guy who wrote the composition, he knew that I had the two backgrounds, the classical and the Irish. So he had that in mind when he composed the piece for me. So that was a real pleasure, and I was very, very chuffed. I don't know if you have that word in America. Chuffed means very pleased.
Pleased and excited and happy and
very grateful that I was able to do that. So that was amazing. And then also I got to play my own compositions in the Kennedy Center in America. With the orchestra, and the pianist, he basically conducted the orchestra as well, and then he arranged some of my Irish pieces for Irish flute and orchestra and piano. So I mean that was like such an amazing opportunity that it started off with a one year award where you get promoted for 1 year, but then continued, and then he asked me to do 2 Celtic albums alongside with him for his record label. And so I did 2 albums with him, and then we toured China, we toured South America, obviously America a couple of times. And yeah, like that was all came from a competition that as a young flautist, I needed to build up my CV and get more opportunities. So definitely that was probably the way forward. And that one in particular, I think kickstarted my career off quite a lot.
And what an incredible one for it to be, right? I mean, those opportunities are incredible. And, you know, you've been very, what I love about you, and I think I mentioned this when we were up in Maine filming, you're very relatable to people, to the audience, but at the same time, you're a real professional. You're brilliant at what you do. You're so focused and so serious about it. Yet at the same time, you can be playful and you can be approachable and affable, and you blend it all together in an extraordinary way. You take what you do so extraordinarily seriously. I mean, I've been there with you, you know, on these stages, Carnegie Hall, the stage in Maine, elsewhere. And once that light's on, you're all business. But you also like to have fun with the audience and make it approachable and relatable at the same time. And that's a cool blend that you offer.
Oh, that's really kind of you to say that, Jim, because I actually do think it's really important that you don't get disconnected from an audience, because the whole point of being a musician, I feel, is that the thing that I think that we're lucky as musicians is that we have an opportunity to connect with other humans through your music and through your performing. So I actually really think it's super important to be able to be relatable to the audience and vice versa, because if there's a barrier, then that connection's not going to be strong and it's not going to be there. And I sometimes find with classical venues or classical music, I think sometimes it can be more difficult to get that balance, because a lot of classical concerts, for example, you tend to not introduce pieces, or, you know, you just come on stage, you bow and you play and you leave. And I think sometimes that can be like more difficult than, for example, Irish music. You usually talk to the audience and tell them a bit about the piece you're going to play, so that they kind of, you know, they get to understand maybe why you like the piece or something about the piece before you even play it, and they automatically feel more connected with you before they even hear it. And I think that's a really nice thing to be able to do. And I think maybe the Irish music background helped make me think that I want to make sure that I continue with that in my career. And any opportunity I get, I always try and speak to the audience or connect with them and be able to have that little like one-to-one to stop that barrier. So yeah, I think that's important to me anyway.
Absolutely. So along the way in your career, and for folks just joining us, we welcome everybody all around the world. I'm your host, Jim Masters. This is the Jim Masters Show Live. We're on every day, Usually we're 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on YouTube at Jim Masters TV, and usually Facebook as well. This is a YouTube exclusive. Today we started earlier at 3. This episode will be archived. Wonderful guest, dear friend. We've known each other for a good long time. Eimear McGeown is here, international classical and Irish flautist extraordinaire. She's performed at some of the most incredible halls and venues. She has a wonderful CD out. She's a prolific producer of music and creator of fabulous music. And it's a blessing to have her here. And we welcome everybody watching on really all of these platforms around the world right now, but especially YouTube. And we invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well while you're there. We would love that and appreciate that. And click that notification bell so you don't miss any of our content, because we do this show every single day. Although we're not doing it tomorrow. It's election day in America, so everybody's going to be glued to their TVs with that. So we're not going to compete with that. When you look at all of this body of work, and we're going to go through some photos, we have some great music we're going to share. You're going to perform live for us too, which we appreciate, my friend. What would you consider the big break? Was there one thing that you look at and you're like, because that happened, all of these other doors of opportunity opened for me? Is there one or two things that just really got those doors open for you that you cherish?
I think definitely the one that I was saying with Barry Douglas. That's got to be that's
a
one.
Huge, yeah.
Then actually, I did I got another award from an Arts Council award that was for you got to do a concerto with the Ulster Orchestra and a recording for BBC Radio. And I think I might have been like maybe 21 or 22, I think, early 20s, just finishing my degree. And it meant that that gave a lot of exposure from starting that, like the BBC recording on the radio and the concerto. And then I was very lucky that the person who was the BBC Awards, it was a BBC recording award from the Arts Council competition. So the BBC were running it. They were partly running it, organizing it. And I don't know, maybe you know this, but the BBC is the, it's like the British, I don't even know what it stands for, British Broadcasting
Corporation.
Something.
Yeah. It's sort of like, I guess in a way it's sort of like our PBS or our CBS, NBC, like it's the major television network and supplier of programming for Great Britain. Absolutely. Yeah. Very well respected as well.
Yeah, so that was definitely, I think, one of those networks that opened up, because the lady who was producing the recording of the concerto and the radio show, she also worked on the BBC Proms. So she recommended me for the BBC Last Night of the Proms concert as a soloist from listening to me do that concerto. So that then opened a whole new world, and being able to play at the BBC Last Night of the Proms is kind of like a dream that you'd never think that would ever happen. And it was just luck that she happened to be on the show and she happened to hear me, and so that was definitely one of those moments where I had to really pinch myself and be like, did this really happen? Overnight. Right. It just changes so quickly. And so that definitely would have been the other big thing where doors opened.
And we happen to have a clip from BBC Proms that you sent along, and that's really cool. Did you want to introduce that a little bit before we show it? It's a great piece.
Yeah, so that was the Visa is Carmen. So it's actually from the opera, but a composer called Francois Born, he did an arrangement of the Carmen for flute called the Carmen Fantasy. So it's really nice because it's got like the melodies of the people recognize, but then he also made it a bit more virtuosic for the flute. So yeah, it's a cool piece.
All right, let's take a look at that now, and we'll be back with lots more, folks. Thanks for joining us on the show today, all around the world.
Hold it by the water and stuff, and it's just a special feeling in the air. I think just having a home audience is just lovely to play to.
McGeown, accompanied by the Ulster Orchestra and conductor Christopher Bell, with the Carmen Fantasy based on tunes from Bizet's opera.
Very, very nice. What an honor that was, huh?
Oh, that was actually quite nice watching it at the moment, because I have been finding it like so difficult not being able to perform, because it's like it's almost like you lose your purpose a little bit, because what makes me feel like really myself is performing. So yeah, it even just watching that makes me feel a bit excited again. Like I'm there and I'm getting to experience it a little bit by watching it. So thanks for sharing that. That's quite nice.
Absolutely. Juanita in South Africa says, most beautiful, most beautiful. Kathy Short saying beautiful as well. Merlin says she absolutely loved it. She's watching in Canada. Really, really nice comments coming in. We also have another clip that we want to show, and this is a really nice one too. I believe this is a cut from the CD. It's sort of like the promo for the CD. Tell us about that, and tell us about the making of that CD. That must have really been a labor of love, and all of your emotion and all of your talent is poured into that. What was the inspiration for the CD for you?
So this is actually a really interesting long story, because this you'll think this is mental when I tell you this. The CD took 10 years to do it. 10 years. And I mean, it wasn't because that it was the reason why it took 10 years was because the producer that was producing it with me was also a full-time drummer and performer, and he traveled the world with different bands, including Massive Attack. He also toured with Chris, the drummer, Krista Berg, and loads of other people. And so he, like myself, were both performers, but we were trying to do the CD in our spare time. And the reason why I met him was when he was, I think I must have been, I don't even know what age I was, sorry, but he wanted it was actually a Celtic album in America. It was a compilation, a Celtic compilation album.
Compilation, yeah.
And it was for somebody else. He was doing a track for a singer. So the singer wanted some Irish flute. So he asked somebody, and somebody recommended my name to play some Irish flute on this one track on this Celtic album that was actually from America. I just remember it being an American album. And anyway, so I went to the studio and I put down some Irish flute. And then in that moment, he said, I would really love to do an album together. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah, of course, that sounds great. And he explained to me what he had in his head. So it was actually all his idea. He said he wanted to do something that was Celtic, but it was slightly more film music sort of arrangements. So kind of a little bit crossover, but so like more classically arranged with, orchestral backgrounds, but on the Irish flute. So I said, yes, great. And then...
And it's this one here, right?
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Beautiful
cover. Where was that? Were you on the ocean there, or where did they take that shot?
It was in Ireland. Beautiful, beautiful Ireland. Yeah. Wow. I had the idea in my head that I wanted a dramatic scenery background and on a cliff edge. So I had a place in mind in Ireland, at the very, very north coast of Ireland. Yeah. And I went there, brought the photographer and the woman who a fashion designer in Ireland made that dress just for the album cover. Like that dress was literally designed for the album. So it was unreal. Like she and then she let me keep it in the end, because she does loads of like fashion fashion walks and shows. And so she used it for a couple of fashion shows, and then in the end she said, you know what, I want you to have it. So I actually have the dress in my wardrobe, but squished all together because it's huge. But anyway,
that's cool.
So, but the good thing was we went up to the coast, and it was really sunny at the start, and I was like, oh no, we really want those stormy backgrounds. And then as soon as I like got out of the car and went to the location, these big clouds came in the back, and then like the sun went away, and it was like proper moody. And then it was like we got the shot in like less than like 10 minutes, and the shot was there, and we went back in the car, and then it was not stormy anymore. So it was one of those sort of moments where everything just worked out so perfectly. It was like almost like too good to be true, but we just got so quickly. Everything I wanted, the image was exactly in my head. And my best friend actually was the one who came up with the idea. She kind of said with the big red dress, and it just really worked out so well. But the album took 10 years, and the good thing about it being 10 years though was it kind of has a bit of all of me. So like it has some tracks that I did at the very beginning, and I look back and think, whoa, I was so like young then. And then like I've got other tracks on there which were like, I did The Sound of Silence, which is the Simon and Garfunkel cover of that. And I would never have thought to have done a cover like 10 years ago or 10 years before. So in some ways I was able to be more adventurous and have more of a mix on the album because it took so long. So like there's a mixture of classically, like some covers, my own compositions, some Irish traditional stuff. And I guess there was some advantages for it taking so long.
Very, very nice. What a great story. I mean, it was really worth. So when that album was complete, that CD, it must have been like very emotional for you and very relieving at the same time, because it's been a labor of love and a dream for 10 years, right? Yeah.
I mean, I can't describe it. Like the nicest part actually was I got to do an album launch in the Irish Embassy in London, and the Irish ambassador, he hosted the whole thing. He organized everything. There was like a champagne reception afterwards, and this beautiful hall. I should have sent you a video of it. Actually, it was, maybe I have a photo I can show you, but it was just like that room was full of every single one of my best friends and families, and like the hall was just full of, like, it was almost like what people assume when they're having a wedding. If you're at your own wedding, like you look around and everyone that you want to be in that room is in that room, and you're performing to everyone that you love, and everyone's there to support you. And so the album launch was really emotional, so emotional. It was like the best way to like release it. It was really special night.
Yeah, it's great to remember that too. Merlin in Canada, claps, claps, claps. Willie in the Netherlands, same thing. And they're talking about what you're talking about now, but also what we just showed, the clip from the BBC. That was amazing, from Renee Katz in New York City. MJ Hammond's so beautiful. Christine Clifton in North Carolina, USA. That was incredible. So very beautiful. Kathy Short, beautiful. Renee says extremely virtuosic. Brava. Really great comments here. And now we'll take a look at a promo clip from the CD as well. And again, the CD itself is this one here. And you were right. I mean, those clouds came in just at the right time. Yeah, really, really beautiful. You seem to be work well in windy conditions, because when we were up in Maine, it was windy and cold, and you guys are all on rocks with the ocean splashing and to get those perfect shots. I mean,
that was hilarious. Like, you couldn't even feel your fingers, and you were having to play on the video. I mean, at least the photo, it's just a photo, so you're like, you can just stand there, but your fingers are like completely numb, and you're trying to play with wind everywhere. Yeah, that was an experience that was hilarious. But it was good fun, and it was nice to have other girls who were also so, like, we were all in solidarity, like huddling in between shots, and everyone was just kind of there for each other, and that was a really nice moment as well. Yeah.
This is one shot from like after, you could see the whole group there with Tim and the Harp Twins and Renee Nesbitt and Lynn and everybody. That was really a great experience to be a part of. There, filming that up in Maine for Celtic Heart, and all the fun we had afterwards too. The pub and the restaurants, and we did that in New York too after Carnegie Hall. Always a fun night after you take the work hat off, right? Then you get together and you let loose and you have fun with a dear group of friends and dear group of fellow talented people. Here is the preview clip of the actual CD, folks. Enjoy this, and then we'll be back in just a moment. And of course, available right now too. That's it. So 10 years, so 2008 to 2018, 10 years. Congratulations, my friend. I know that was a labor of love. And do you see more happening, more CDs, music coming down the pike too?
Yeah, so at the moment, I play a lot with a fiddle player, an Irish traditional fiddle player. So we've been doing a lot of duo stuff for the last couple of years, but now we want to record some together. So it's very much like not like that at all. Like it's completely traditional. So it's less crossover. So that's something that we're planning on doing once we can record again, because at the moment it's with all the restrictions, it's impossible. But yeah, that's the next thing. And then obviously the collaboration with the Chinese pianist, maybe something we might record with that. But yeah, definitely down the line for sure.
We've got another clip here, and then I know you're going to perform live as well. And this is you're performing your composition at Worldcon with their Philharmonic Orchestra. Tell us about that.
So that was a really nice opportunity because I have often played my own pieces with orchestra, but never had it recorded before. So it was really nice that the Dublin, well, actually, it's actually Worldcon Philharmonic Orchestra, but they were doing the sci-fi gig in Dublin. So it was the perfect opportunity for them to contact me because it was more local, compared to where they would have been before. So they basically just said that what I played some pieces that they wanted the Celtic flavor with the classical orchestra. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to get to do what I love, and they're asking me to do like whatever I want. So I was really lucky to be able to choose. I think I did 2 of my own compositions off the album, and then another piece which is a traditional slip jig called Kid on the Mountain. So that was a dream come true, actually. I have to say, it was something that was really nice to be able to do.
Fantastic. Let's treat our audience around the world to more exquisite and phenomenal music here with a very special guest, Eimear McGeown on the flute. And enjoy this, folks. It's going to really, if you think you're loving what you've heard already, wait till you hear this. And there's much more coming up as well. Here we go. Very, very nice. That was really nice. So what was that like for you? I mean, we're talking about your own composition there too. I mean, that's amazing.
I have a funny story about that piece, actually. The first piece, it's called The Mushroom Tree. So, I'll tell you what happened. I was at a festival in Ireland, and it's actually the festival that I was telling you about that I did the competition. So every year, I would come back and do a concert or do a couple of concerts. So it started off where I just did classical music at it. And then whenever I came back the year after, I asked, would you mind if I did half and half? So they said, yeah, no problem. That'd be really great to have some Irish music. So I ended up doing a whole concert of Irish music the year after that. And as continued as on. And then I was playing at a lunchtime concert on the Irish whistle and flute with a guitar player. And then the evening, I was playing for the fashion show, which is how I met the lady who designed my dress for my album cover. So the fashion show, she was one of the designers. And so there was a gap in between. I will tell you that I always said to cut a long story short, but you'll hear the whole story. So I'm just warning you. I apologize in advance because I have a very long-winded way of telling stories.
We Irish are very good storytellers. We usually close the place.
Yeah, it's funny. I go into so much detail. And then sometimes my boyfriend's like, you just go off on a tangent, but I always get my way back again, but I always go off on another tangent and then I get back again. But anyway, yeah, so I was, I like to paint the story, the picture in people's heads. But anyway, I was, it was in between the two concerts, so we had some time to kill. And so me and the guitar player, we were just jamming, just playing just for fun while we were, wasting time. And the festival is on this really beautiful estate called the Clandeboy Estate in the north of Ireland. And there was a window, and there was like a really misty evening, and there's loads of trees, so it's like loads of forest area. And I looked out the window and I saw this tree. And I was just playing a melody, just messing around, jamming. And then I saw this tree and I thought it really looked like a mushroom, a mushroom. Yeah. And then this melody came into my head. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to call it the mushroom tree because that really looks like a mushroom. But then the year after that, I came back and did the concert, and I played this mushroom tree in the concert. So I told the story of, it's actually written about that tree just outside. And then everyone was like, oh, I really want to see the tree. So afterwards, everyone was asking me, what tree was it? So I pointed the tree and everyone was like, that doesn't look like a mushroom. And I was like, what? And I thought it did. So then I went back into the room where I actually composed the piece. And then I noticed that there was a picture on the wall of a mushroom. So I think maybe subconsciously I saw the mushroom on the wall and then was looking out at this misty evening and saw this big long tree. And I just put the two together and I thought that looked more like a mushroom tree than it did. But then that was where the title came of the piece. And then I found out that the year after that, one of the trees that were on the estate were going to be knocked down. It was going to be cut down. But apparently the owner of the whole festival, of the whole estate, she said, no, we're not going to cut that down, because Eimear wrote that about the mushroom tree. Eimear wrote a tune about it, like, let's try and save the tree. Anyway, it turns out they showed me the tree, and I was like, it's not that tree, it's that tree. So I saved the tree, but not even the right tree that they thought it was. So it was just really funny, the story behind it. But I saved the tree. So at least composing the piece meant I saved a tree.
That's amazing. That story was worth the trip. It was worth the trip. That was a really cool story. Merlin in Canada says you really look like you're enjoying yourself, especially when you're playing. Juanita, goodness, so lovely. Any of your music used for movie soundtracks? Has anybody? So, you know what's interesting? That is the next step that I would love to do. That would be the dream for me, would be to have my pieces in films and also be able to perform on other people's film scores. Like, that is literally the next step of my career that I dream of. So I don't know, hopefully, fingers crossed, because that's definitely something that I just would be so passionate about doing. So fingers crossed, hopefully someday. Absolutely. You know, it's funny to hear you say film. I was mentioning on the air with one of the other guests, my father is, you know, the Irish side of the family, and his mother and grandmother and all, they came over from Ireland, and they settled in Manhattan in New York City, and then moved to Astoria. And when I was a kid, and even still, I would hear my father say film, and I would say, film? What's film? Dad, isn't it film? Yeah, film. No, yeah. Film. Yeah, film. So where is he from? Originally from New York originally, yeah. But the family is they're all like through Dublin, and there is some Northern Ireland too, Londonderry, and then through there as well. And it's actually in the south of Dublin, in the south of Ireland, they don't say film. They don't. It's only the north that say yes. So yes. They must have somewhere from maybe Derry, maybe. Well, the Masters side is Masters is British, so the Masters family, my father's side, they come from Yorkshire, England, and Yorkshire is beautiful. Yeah. So the Masters hail from there, and I'm the fifth James, and so they had settled in New York City, and then my father's mother's side, the Irish side, his grandmother and all, and film is what you would always hear. And so I was actually on public television, and I was interviewing Ronan Tynan, who is part of the Irish tenors, and we're in the studio, and this is way back. We're in the studio, and he's talking about picture taking and cameras and paparazzi and everything. And he says, yeah, and lots of film. And I'm standing there with the camera on me, live on TV, and I'm like, wait a minute. I couldn't say anything, but I was saying to myself, wait, where have I heard that before? And then we were talking about it after, and he said, yeah, you know, in certain parts of Ireland, they'll say film as opposed to film. And so that's how it took for me to be on TV live interviewing Ronan Tynan to actually hear it again, to say, Dad, I guess, you know, you've heard it growing up from your grandmother and, you know, the Irish side of the family. When they come over to the States, they would use those certain words, some of those maybe Gaelic sounding words or what have you. So it's cool to hear it, because it's bringing me back to childhood. Film. It's fascinating that's really fascinating that still continued through the generations, and I think that's incredible. I didn't know that. Yeah, yes, still continued through the generations. Absolutely, which is a cool thing. Yeah. Really, really cool. We've got some great photos here too, some really, really cool things that we can chat about. Tell us about this one here. That's very special, huh? Yep. And you know what's funny about that? That invitation came on my birthday, just randomly happened to be on my birthday. So I, got up on my birthday and had some birthday cards. Yeah. And then opened this really fancy looking letter with a fancy stamp.
And I was like, "Ooh, what is this?" I had no idea. It was a complete surprise. Opened it and I was like, "What? I'm being invited by the Queen to go to Buckingham Palace? What?" And then she puts on an award to celebrate the young people in the performing arts. So I was very lucky to get invited to that, and it was amazing. Actually, it was incredible. There was so much security, obviously. Rules. The inside of Buckingham Palace was so beautiful, and I got to meet the Queen, which was really just such an interesting situation to be in, because she was just about to go to Ireland for the first time since all of the troubles, and she was going to visit she was going to visit Ireland basically, and it was quite a difficult thing for her to do, and quite she was quite anxious about it, and understandably with all of the history, and I loved how honest she was. So I said to her, because I knew there was a one woman in particular that was meeting her in Ireland, and I said, they're all very excited for you coming over, and I said, are you looking forward to it? Are you excited? She goes, well, no, not really. And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect her to be so open. I respected that so much, because I was like, you don't have to pretend. I mean, this is amazing that you're just being so I would have just been polite, but she was great. She said, no, I'm actually quite anxious about it, and it's going to be a difficult time, but it's good that things are moving forward, and it's something that we need to do. And so she was. I just thought it was so nice to hear, and so refreshing to hear honesty and not pretend at all. She just said it how it was.
Absolutely. The other word that's really, I mean, that's just an extraordinary honor. I mean, when you look back, I mean, that's another thing that you've experienced that is truly amazing. And again, your talent, speaks for itself, my friend. Sherry was saying, Sherry Schoenlein here in the States, what a lovely story behind the mushroom tree.
I'm glad you enjoyed the story.
And they're just gorgeous, Renee Katz in New York City, in terms of what we were showing. And Alessandro says, too many mushrooms, too many trees. And Willie, film equals movie. Exactly. It's the pronunciation of it. A lot of people here in the States, most people probably say film, but it's really predominantly like Northern Ireland that says film, right? Or film. Did you ever hear that also in Scotland or parts of England too? Film, or just really?
No, not. I genuinely haven't. And it's because I actually, when I came to London, my English friends and anyone else was like, they thought it was so funny that when I said film, they were like, they find it hilarious. Every time I said it, they still would laugh every time. And they still do to this day. And it was funny because they taught me how to try and say it the way they say it. Because I find it really difficult, because I guess whatever way your syllables are, that to try and say it the way the English said, I couldn't. So we ended up having a little, a sequence of words to get to it. So I don't know. Do you have Sesame Street in America?
That's where it came from. It came from America. PBS. Yeah.
Okay. So growing up, I would watch Sesame Street, and I used to love Elmo. The red one. I used to love Elmo. Yeah, he was great. He was one of my favorites. And so whenever we came up with this way for me to learn how to say film the other way, so I'd say Elmo. So that's the Sesame Street character. So Elmo. And then change the E to an I, Ilmo, and then add an F, Filmo, and then take away the O, film. Still can't do it.
You said it right. Yeah, film.
Filmo, film. Whereas we would say film.
Now also too, exactly, film, little. We all say little, almost like we're saying it with a D, little.
Okay.
And you'll say little, because I've noticed that too. I've heard some of my relatives say little, and bottle instead of bottle.
Yeah, we said bottle or little.
Bottle. So you're actually pronouncing it with the T, and we say it almost like it's a D. We say little. Bottle. Almost like it's like a D, but really is a T. It's really, really funny. But Juanita, who's watching in South Africa, says, yes, in Africans, film is also a movie or camera, and it's pronounced film as well in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
maybe, yeah. Alessandro says, seems like you helped the Queen get out of troubles.
He likes a sense of humor.
Absolutely. Here's another cool shot.
Oh yeah, that was the hour session. Yeah.
For the audience who aren't familiar, and I've been to many of them, they're wonderful. A session is how just a group of musicians coming together and sort of jamming and playing, right?
That's exactly what it is. Exactly that. We all share the tunes together. We play some tunes, some people sing, and we just sit around just sharing the music and the company. And it's lovely. You meet so many people that from all backgrounds, because a lot of people who play Irish music would play it as a hobby. So they'll already have a real job as such, and then they come together in their spare time to play Irish music in pubs. So it's a nice way to meet people that are not musicians, you know, because a lot of the time, I guess, the people I always surround myself will be musicians out of, you know, the way it naturally would be. So I find it fascinating, like in the group, for example, like there's an architect, someone who works for Apple, someone who runs their own company, a guy who's a producer. You know, it's you meet lots of different interesting people through that world, and it's very much about a community, which I really love. And I organize them in London, so it's a nice way to, when I'm not on tour, to have a base to come back to as well.
Cool. Here's another great shot.
Oh yeah, that's Nigel and Paula. Yeah, that was a nice photo actually. Somebody, he was a Japanese tourist. He came in and he had a camera, and he just took really beautiful photos. And so it was nice to have it captured, you know, professionally.
Where was this?
So that one's in a pub called the Howl at the Moon in Hoxton. So in London, East London.
Very nice.
But actually, I don't know if I've told you this, but every time I go on tour, I always find an Irish session all over the world. So like I find one in Japan when I was there. I find one in when I was in where was I? In San Francisco, I find one. I find one in China, like everywhere. Where else? Everywhere I go, I always seek out a session. So I'll put a thing on Facebook and I'll say, anyone know of our session in Japan, or anyone know of an hour session in wherever I am? And I always find there's always somebody who will send me a link to somebody, and I will find a session all over the world. And I just think that's such a nice thing that Irish people, they share their music no matter where they go. And it means that you can all connect no matter where you go. Australia, I find one in Australia as well, in Melbourne. And it's just nice because it makes you feel like even when you're away from home, you get a piece of home through other people who are playing as well. So it's a nice thing. It's a nice thing to share. I
would imagine also in Chicago and Boston and New York, because they have big Irish communities and those American cities for sure. Here's another cool shot. That's another, right?
Yeah. So that pub, we had one time, I think it was like 20 people, all squeezed around. And this pub actually is quite small. And literally, I must find a photo at some point, but literally 20 people we counted one day, all squeezed around. Like, and it was just, you know, the session is booked for 2 hours, and sometimes it would just go on to like, you know, till the pub shuts. So we might start at like 5 and still be there at like 1 a.m, still playing tunes. Just, you know, once you start, it's like addictive, and everyone just, you know, keeps going and keeps going. So it's just a really nice, enjoyable way to spend the evening.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned this fine gentleman, the legendary Sir James Galway.
Yeah, he was really supportive of me, actually, of my music when I was in my 20s. I did a competition in Switzerland. He does a course, and the nice thing about it was that it was a week of masterclasses, and then you played 2 masterclasses, and then he give you lessons and would you know like a workshop on stage, and then at the end there's like an audience prize, and then you can like win like an instrument, a part of an instrument. So he was really he spent a lot of time with me, actually. I don't know if you know this, but he has a gold flute, and like he's got many gold flutes and platinum flutes, but he particularly likes playing gold, whereas I actually prefer playing silver. I just prefer the purity of it. It just suits me better. It's just a personal taste thing. So I actually spent quite a lot of time with James Galway in Switzerland, testing out flutes, because my flute, he said, I really needed to get a better one. So we tried all the gold flutes, and they were obviously fantastic, but the silver was the one that I really preferred. So he was just really supportive and helpful. And when I won the award, he was just really he tried to organize some concerts for me with actually an orchestra, I think in America, Detroit Symphony Orchestra. And it was just nice to have someone who I had looked up at from such a tiny age to be respecting me and thinking that like he gave me like a boost of confidence that I like my hero when I was a kid, like the first person I saw play flute was being like, like he was being supportive of me and thought that I was good. And I was like, it was such a one of those feelings that you're like, you have to pinch yourself thinking James Galway thinks I'm okay. Like
amazing, right? You admired him, looked up to him. He was like an inspiration, like a mentor. And now here you are with him, and he really appreciates your he's a wonderful friend too, and his lovely wife Jean too. Yeah. They might be hopping on the show, which would be wonderful as well. And we have several people coming on. Oscar Blue is coming on. Phil Coulter's coming on. Corner Boy. Phil Coulter's coming on November 15th. Okay,
because I was going to play a piece of his.
8 p.m. your time, 3 p.m. our time. We're doing it again to accommodate, the late hours there for you guys in Europe. That's going to be November. It's coming up soon. Well, George Hutton is on next. Actually, Oscar Blue is this Saturday. And then we have George Hutton coming on too. We've got Roy Buckley. Roy Buckley's coming on. Phil Coulter's coming on. It's and Ryan Kelly's been on. Damien McGinty's been on. Chloe Agnew, Mairead Nesbitt's been on. Colin Keegan, Neil Byrne. It's been Irish Central. Yeah, we've been touching into our Irish roots here. And then I definitely wanted you to come on too, because, we're good friends and we've always had a good time. And you're so talented and so brilliant at what you do. And to have Sir James Galway say those things, it makes total sense. He recognized your talent in you, And
it was just the thing that I found the nicest was that he wanted to support my career and try and help me move to the next level by trying to organize these events. And I just thought it's nice when it's a bit like Barry Douglas, whenever someone takes an interest in the younger generation and helps to support them, because it's really difficult as young musicians to have that support and to feel confident and feel, you need that
boost.
You need that boost, and you need to have it. It's really like it's a really special thing to have that from someone who respect or from a kid. So
absolutely. Corner Boy is coming on. I think it's December 5th. We were going to have them come on. They were going to come on, I think, about 2 weeks ago, but the Irish lockdown, the phase 5.
Yes.
Their studio is 40 kilometers from their house, and you're only allowed to go 5 kilometers. So all their instruments and all their things are too far away. So we just moved it to December, which will be really, really cool. You mentioned that you wanted to play something for us. You want to play something for us now? Well, we'll go. We have a few more pictures and cool things, but what would you like to play for us now, my friend?
Well, I was thinking perfect way to link it in was you just mentioned Phil Coulter. So Phil Coulter composed a piece called Home Away from Home. And I actually played it in New York when it was the 2008, I think, and with an orchestra, and it was St. Patrick's Festival celebration. And the orchestra wanted me to play pieces that were written by Irish composers as part of the festival. And the best part was I ended up getting to spend my birthday in New York, because my birthday is the day after Paddy's Day, so we had good celebrations. But anyway, one of the pieces I chose was this piece called Home Away from Home, and I just think it's one of the most beautiful pieces. I actually think it's my favorite piece to play on the classical flute, and it's it was really funny because he arranged it for the orchestra for me to play because it was written for Irish flute and piano. And he composed it and recorded it with James Galway. So James Galway was playing the flute version. And I guess that was probably the first time I heard it on James Galway's album. So I fell in love with the piece. And then when I had the opportunity to play in New York and had to choose the Irish composers, I was like, definitely Phil Coulter. So he like arranged it for orchestra. So I was really like so blown away that like Phil Coulter himself, like the person who recorded this piece, who composed this piece I love so much, was arranging it for orchestra for me. So I did that in New York. And then I played it at the Proms as well. Last night at the Proms, I played 2 pieces, the Carmen opera, and then this other piece. And then basically about a year ago, somebody asked me to do a concert in Belfast, and Phil Coulter was also doing the same concert. So I actually got to play the piece with him on piano. And it was just a really magical moment to be able to play the piece I love so much with the composer who wrote it. So that was really nice. So yeah, I thought maybe I'll play that just because it's one of my favorite pieces to play.
And what's the title of it?
It's called Home Away from Home. Yeah, Home Away from Home. So it's actually, I'm used to, it's interesting when I play classical flute, I'm usually standing up performing. I'm sitting on the couch and it's it's quite an unusual situation, but I'll do my best to perform it anyway.
Absolutely. And we have a hello here from Isigari, who is watching in Barcelona, Spain right now as well.
Oh,
so she's saying hello in Spanish and loving everything that she's hearing and seeing. So we got folks all around the world enjoying. All right. Take it away, my friend. We'll do a full screen so we can see you doing your thing, and then we'll be back.
Okay. Am I in the right position? All right.
Yeah, you look great.
Okay. Let's get my water out of the way.
That was beautiful. Bravo, bravo. That's really, really beautiful.
Isn't it? I just think it's a gorgeous piece. So beautiful.
I know. Really, really nice. Tiffany Moore is here. And Tiffany Moore, I don't know if you met Tiffany.
Yeah.
The fiddler, violinist in Chicago.
Yeah. She met her in New York, and we all hung out afterwards. And
that's right. That's right. What am I talking about? Yeah, right after the Carnegie Hall when we were together. That's right. Yeah.
And she also plays the fiddle as well. She plays music as well, and I think she studies with Mairead Nesbitt.
Yes, she does. Right. And she actually was a guest on our show as well in the summertime and played live from Chicago, and we had a wonderful time. And good to see Tiffany here. That's right. You're a good memory. We all got together after the Carnegie Hall, and we found that place, and I think we were there till 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and I had to catch the train, and it was funny.
Yeah. And then we tried to walk up to see the Christmas lights, but
and the tree was off.
He was off, yeah.
The one time that the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree in New York City had shut off was when we all walked through the city to go to it to find it. But I think we took a couple of pictures in front of it as well. But Nice to see you, Tiffany from Chicago. And
hi, Tiffany.
Yeah, hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany.
And thanks for that beautiful phone call, Tiffany. I have to call you back. You're on my list. I'm going to call you this week. Beautiful phone call she left for me. Anne says, beautiful, what you just presented for us, my friend Juanita in South Africa. Claps, hearts, beautiful. Alessandro saying lovely. Isigari in Barcelona, Spain. She is saying bravo as well. And we love this. Irish 43 is here. Fantastic. Says beautiful as well. Isigari's thanking you, saying fantastic, which is awesome. And yeah. I just heard from Phil actually today because he sent a bunch of stuff for the upcoming show for us to play. And I think he's going to do some live stuff. And his, have you read his new book? He sent me his book.
No, I didn't know yet. What's it about? His
autobiography. Yeah. Phil Coulter, Broken but Not Bruised. Really cool autobiography. And then he sent me his book of music and lyrics too, which was really beautiful. All of the songs over the years. Merlin says, how lovely. And Tiffany says, I think it was more like 5 a.m. Yeah, I think it was when we were at that pub. There's a lot of ordering and reordering. Did we eat food?
Oh, it was a good night, wasn't it? It was nice.
Yeah. I got to get those pictures. I have the pictures. They're still on the camera. I'm so bad with that sometimes because I take so many pictures and I get so busy with, you get so busy too. But I have lots of pictures. There's a few that I posted, but I got to get more of them out. I think I'm going to have to explain that. Then Jim came back home with me and Mairead. I didn't see that. Actually, we did and stayed there for a while because I think I had to wait until like 6 a.m. for the next train to come north to the Metro North train. So there was a lull and everything had closed by then. So Tiffany and Mairead said, come back with us. So we were, and that was a lot of fun. We were having a lot of fun, a lot of crack at where Mairead was staying that night. Really nice from Issy, Barcelona. Rini Katz says, beautiful piece. She's a performer herself as well. And Willie, so she says in Spain, they also celebrate St. Patrick's Day, everyone dressed in green in Spain as well. Didn't realize that. Really nice. Before you treat us to something else, we have another couple of really cool photos here that I just wanted to make sure we showed for the audience. This one here, that's at the Kennedy Center, right? And that's, of course, the statue of Kennedy. You were talking about that earlier. Again, if somebody just joined us late, tell us about that incredible experience that you had.
So that was with, it was an Irish orchestra, and we were doing a concert in the Kennedy Center as part of a festival, I think. And so it was a nice opportunity where I was able to play my own compositions that were arranged by arranged for Irish Flute on orchestra and piano. And it was just another one of those pinching moments where it was like, wow, we got to play in the Kennedy Center, my own compositions in the Kennedy Center. So it was like the whole time was like a bit surreal. Same with Carnegie Hall, like those venues are just so, prestigious, and it just feels so special to be able to play in venues like that. So that was a wonderful evening. And that dress also was designed by the lady who did my album cover, the big red dress for my album cover. She also designed that dress. It was really nice actually, because it's nice to be able to wear, dresses that are slightly different that you can't just buy because they're one-off sort of thing. So that was a really fantastic dress too. And it was kind of like a greenish color. It's hard to see in that, but it was, I wanted it to be sort of reflecting the Celtic sort of side. Right.
There it looks a little bluish, but a little bit more greenish, like you say. And exactly like you said, it's the same designer as this one here that we saw earlier, which is extraordinary. You can see it's got a certain flair to her designs. Yeah.
yeah, her name is Geraldine Connon, if anyone did want to look up her work. But also the Tim Janis's concert, that the red dress, basically she has the neck on it, so you can take the neck down. So if you notice the album cover, it has the big fancy neck, and then in the photo with me and you in Maine, it has just the corset. So it's the same dress, but you can have different ways of wearing it, which I think is even more amazing.
So this one here is the same dress?
Yeah, that's the same dress as my album cover. It's just the neck is different. So you have two options. You have two ways of wearing it. You can dress it with the neck or without the neck, and that's without the neck. Wow. Whereas the album cover is with the neck. It's fascinating idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Very creative woman.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody was dressed to the nines there filming that. I tell you, really, really, that was very memorable. Hope we do more things like that together with Tim and with everybody, all of us. Here's another great shot. This is beautiful. Yeah,
that was really nice, actually. That was it was a concerto called the Lieberman Concerto, which is actually Lieberman's from America, and I had to do 2 concertos in the one night in 2 different venues. So I had to play a concerto in Belfast in the Ulster Hall. And then I had to, my dad had to come and pick me up in the car. So I ran out the back entrance, got in the car, and then basically changed in the car, went to the next venue, and then did another concerto with orchestra in another dress. So it was quite stressful. And it was my dad, he got lost in the traffic, and he just got stressed. And I think he was so under pressure because they had to hold the second half until I arrived. So I think my dad felt really under pressure to make sure that he had to get me on time. And he never, ever gets lost. Like, he knows where to go. But I think it was just traffic and the stress of everything and the pressure that he felt that he had to get me there. We ended up getting a bit lost, but we were fine. We got there on time. But yeah, it was a bit of a crazy couple of days that week.
Yeah. And then, of course, Carnegie Hall.
Yeah. Oh, such great memories. What a beautiful hall as well.
Isn't it? Yeah, really, really is. Very iconic. The acoustics are spectacular. And of course, this event is so monumental with the amount of people involved in this event. It's really a joy, true joy to be a part of this. And it's for such a good cause and a good reason. And you're big on that, like I am, giving back to people, inspiring people, being positive, lifting people up, sharing, our talents, sharing our creativity with the world through the various forms as creative types like we are, me in television, radio, and everything I've done, and you with the amazing, brilliant work that you do. It's cool when you get a chance to do work that you love, and at the same time, you're inspiring and entertaining and informing people and putting smiles on their faces. Something everybody can use a lot more of right about now, right?
Definitely. I mean, that's one thing that I think is helping people through the arts, even in lockdown, a few people were saying, can you imagine one full day where you had no music, no TV, no books, no art? That would just be a massive struggle in any time, never mind right now. I think we're turning to the arts more than ever in to get us through the days. And I just think, how fascinating would it be if literally nowhere was allowed to have any music? It would be like you're walking through a silent movie. Sometimes sometimes I'm like walking along with my music and I'm like, I feel like I'm in a film. Whereas if there was no music, it would just feel like you're living a silent movie. I think sometimes we don't, and me included, don't realize how much music makes things different. So even watching a movie, I'd say I said movie instead of film. Even watching
film. We like it better when you say film.
Even watching a film, if you like the music when it's so dramatic, or say like a horror movie, if there was no like dramatic music, it wouldn't be scary. Or if there was a scene where there was a love scene, if you didn't have that really romantic music, you wouldn't feel it anywhere near the same by just looking at it. Emotions really get heightened when you hear music, and I just think, I couldn't live without music. I just couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And again, that's Carnegie Hall, and yeah, that looks like that's a big organ, but that is actually the walls of Carnegie Hall, the stage itself. A beautiful Carnegie Hall all lit up. And then here's another shot from Carnegie Hall as well.
That dress was also made by Geraldine Connon, especially for this as well. She made it especially for Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
Slightly different to the others, but still as beautiful.
Really, really nice. Yeah, really,
Such
really
a
nice. And that's a cool, I love that room when we end up in that room where everybody gets to gather.
Oh no, it wasn't you. Sorry, it was Dustin. Dustin's fantastic as well, isn't he?
Oh, Dustin Cross, his designs and all. Yeah, isn't he?
For me. Yeah. Oh, he's so fantastic, Dustin, isn't he?
And he was in Maine. Yeah, did a lot of the work in Maine too, right? Absolutely. Dustin Cross. Yeah, he's a good guy. And we hung out with him after too when we were at, with everybody. I mean, it was everybody. Joey and the whole group. Yeah, Lynn Hillary and Tim Elizabeth, everybody. That room there at Carnegie Hall is beautiful. That sort of upper back room there where people gather and
backstage,
meet and greet. And it's a beautiful, beautiful room. Here's another great shot here too.
Oh yeah, that was from the BBC Proms, last night of the Proms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good photographer.
Yeah, very, very nice. Absolutely. And of course this is where we were all in Maine filming Celtic Heart with Tim Janis. And again, everybody there, you're in the red to the left of you. And yeah, really cool shot. And we've got a ton of pictures. One day you got to dig up all the pictures from that fabulous weekend and from Carnegie Hall and so much more. There was something else that you wanted to play too, but before that, you showed us briefly some of the different flutes that you have there. We're going to do a full screen. Can you explain a little about each of those flutes so if people can see those? That'll be cool.
Yeah. So the first one was the simple penny whistle, I think they would have called it years ago. I call it a tin whistle. This one's actually made out of brass, and it's actually American whistle maker made this called John Sint. So this would be the type of whistle I started on, and I'll just play a little bit so you hear the sound of it. So that's the tin whistle. Then this is another version of the tin whistle. So it's the same pitch, but it's made out of different material. So this one's actually made out of rubber, believe it or not. So normally like you'd have wood, but this one's a Belfast tin whistle maker decided to try different materials, and this one's rubber. So it's a bit louder and better for our sessions when the pub's noisy, but it's not so good in this room, but I'll play a little bit so you can hear. So that's the rubber one. And then we move on to this one, and it's actually made out of wood, and it's the same maker as the rubber one. So these two are the same maker from Belfast, Roy McManus, and this one's in the key of C. So I will tell you that these two are both in D major, which is the standard, the standard tuning or flute in the Irish world would be in D. This one, however, is in C, so it's a note lower, tone lower. And then we have this one, which is made out of nickel, and it's even lower again. So it's B flat. So this one this is the one that I played the mushroom tree on. So I'll play a little bit of the mushroom tree and then you can hear the sound of it. So that's the B flat whistle. And then you have a D flute. This is actually made by a guy in the south of Ireland called Martin Doyle. And I would play slow pieces on this mainly. So I'll play a little bit of a slow piece. So that was May It Be by Enya. So yeah, and then the classical one you heard earlier, it's a bit different because you've got a lot of keys all on the outside. So I don't know if you can see that, but you have to press down like that. Whereas on the Irish flute, it's just holes, and then you have extra keys that you play as well. So you can press these down. So yeah. Any questions?
Very cool. Very, very cool. Do you have a favorite amongst those?
I feel like I would be like, you know, like when people say, have they got a favorite kid? They'd feel like
very tough.
So it is tough because there's definitely things that I like about all the different ones. I think if for example, I was on an island and I was only allowed one instrument, it would be this one. Just because I can play fast things, slow things. The wood is warm. So if I want to play something like, I don't know, like even on the high parts, the high register, you can express yourself quite a lot on this flute, I think, and it's really warm, and it's, yeah, I think I can express myself most on this, I think is the best way I can put it.
Is it because of the warmth? You like the fact that it offers that warmer tonality to it?
Yes, I think so. It's the warmth of the tonality, and also I think it's because it's Irish. You know, when you've got that Irish blood and in you, and you know, I do love playing the sad tunes. I love playing the happy tunes too, but I love really feeling connected and in a like quite a like, it sounds really weird because it sounds like
a emotional, deep, yeah, humanistic way. Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't want to say sad because it's not about being sad. It's just about feeling deeply connected.
Yes.
So,
right.
Yeah. So
right.
I think that's probably what I like most about that. But it's hard because I love playing Home Away from Home on this one. So it's a hard question, but I think it would be the wood one.
Is there a song that you want to play on any of those for us right now that you had in mind?
Yeah, I mean, I could play a set of reels on this one.
Yeah.
These two reels I love, and they were actually composed by a man who sadly died this year, and he was a legend. He played some classical and Irish fiddle. He was called Brendan McGlinchey, and he was from County Armagh, which is where my home county is. Yeah. So I like the idea of maybe playing that for him, you know, because it's nice to have people in memory, and especially whenever someone he's written so many amazing compositions, and yeah, excuse me. I think, yeah, I'd like to just play a short little bit of that.
Tiffany had asked if you had considered teaching whistle lessons online because you're incredible.
That's really kind. But, you know, sometimes I think being a good player and being a good teacher are very different things. And everyone kind of maybe thinks that that if you can play well, you can teach well. And I have to say, like, I have taught quite a lot in the past, but I don't think I'm a very good teacher. And I mean that purely as honestly as that I just think that there's way better teachers out there than I could ever be. And I don't actually feel like comfortable because I feel like I'm not doing a good job. So yeah, I just never really connected with teaching. So yeah, so I guess that's the best way I can explain that.
It's a good answer. So play on. So the name of this one again?
So the name of the first one is, I think it's called Sweeney's Buttermilk, I think. And the second one is called Splendid Isolation. And then I'll maybe finish off just with a little Irish old traditional tune called Lad O'Byrne's. So I'll play 3 short pieces. You might hear the change in the key.
You know, it's interesting. The second one, so appropriate for this year we've all been going through, Splendid Isolation, huh?
Isn't that interesting? Actually, someone was saying that when he died in lockdown, in the middle of lockdown, and someone was saying what a perfect title for that. Yeah. So yeah, you're right.
All right, take it away.
Okay.
Really, really nice.
I gave you a little bit between. I don't know if
you did, yes. And it just flows so naturally for you. I mean, it's so beautifully done. And I tell you, this is when you look at all of this that you've done, my friend. What are some other things? What are some other dreams that you have with your music and your incredible talent and capabilities, as far as either composing more music, or maybe there are people that you would love to do duets with, to perform with, venues around the world where you'd like to perform? Anything on sort of that bucket list of yours?
I think it's very much film music. I really would love to get into the film world. I mean, that is my favorite type of music. The stuff that's emotive, the stuff that's, people really connect with the most. I think, like, if you try and look at, like, I love loads and loads of different styles of music and loads of different types of music, but the thing that I think really most people will without even realizing, I think most people will always love film music because they don't even know they're loving it because it's in a film and they're connecting with it without even knowing they're connecting with it.
Right.
But for me, I just would love to just get into that whole world of film music and either compose stuff for films or play on film soundtracks of other people's music. That's definitely what I want to do next, for sure. Like, that's my dream. Definitely.
Playing and composing too, or just playing, you think, or a little?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I would like to collaborate as a composer with somebody else. I find it can be quite isolating trying to compose yourself. And I also, I feel like I would like to be, like music can be a lonely business sometimes. Like if you're, doing a solo stuff a lot, and that's why I really love the sessions and the community feel or things like that. So like doing this duo, for example, with the fiddle player, I'm enjoying having a musical partner. And I think when it comes to like film side of things, I think to collaborate with a composer or a producer and do things together in that world would be perfect, absolutely perfect. But also I'd love to play as well. So both, mixing it all.
Do you like to tour? Do you like to travel, or you prefer? You do. Yes,
I love it. I love it. I love meeting new people. I love seeing new places. I love I love the spontaneity of things. Like I love like new tastes and new food. Like I actually find it really difficult to be stuck in the same place because I don't do well with routine. I get really bored easily. I get restless. I love when things are the unexpected happens. Like for me, traveling and being around the world is something I always want to do until I die.
Any places that you haven't been yet, Eimear, that you really want to go to?
Iceland. I want to go to Iceland so badly.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a band called Sigur Rós from Iceland I used to listen to years ago, and ever since I heard their music, I wanted to go to the place because their music was just so like special, and I just wanted to understand where that music came from.
Sure.
And then I started looking at pictures of Iceland, and then I was like, wow. So that's definitely on my bucket list for sure. Japan is one of the places that I've been now quite a lot. I'm actually supposed to be in Japan right now, which is actually, right now I'm supposed to be in Japan, but obviously it was cancelled because of the virus. But Japan is one of my favorite places in the whole entire world. I think I've been there maybe 5 times now, and I love the people. I love the culture. I love the food. I love the people are very respectful people, but also know how to party hard when they want to, when they relax. Like, I really, really love Japan a lot. I want to spend way more time there as well. America, it's funny. I actually wanted to move to New York when I was finished my students, when I was like out of college. I actually always wanted to go to New York and move there. And then it wasn't until actually a year and a half ago, I was over and I was speaking to someone in the Irish music scene, and they said, I could actually probably make this happen. I could get you a visa, and you could do some Irish gigs, and it could start you off. And then I think the problem was it was just too late in my life then, because I had all these people around me in London because I've been in London 18 years. And I think if the opportunity had come up when I was maybe in my 20s, I would have snatched it straight away because it was always what I wanted. But then it was just too late in life that I kind of realized that, when you build a network around you, it's sometimes harder to leave that because community is so important to me. And I think you'd feel like almost like you were starting from scratch again if I went to New York so late in my career. But New York was always somewhere I always wanted to spend time in.
Absolutely. How about performing in places like Australia?
Yeah, so my boyfriend's Australian, so I went to Australia in November last year and spent a month there, and I found an hour session, and I did. And actually it was interesting because Liz Carroll, she's a really fantastic fiddle player from Chicago, she happened to be in Melbourne the exact same day I was in there, so we actually ended up both going to a session together and playing in a pub, and it was a brilliant night of music. And Australia, it's so far away. That's the only problem. It just feels like a complete different universe. At least New York, you can pop on the flight, and but I mean, there's a lot of Irish in Australia as well, and there's a big network of people over there. And it's it's really beautiful. I went to Sydney and Melbourne and had a great time. But yeah, it's just a bit too far, I think.
A little bit too far. And Willie asks, how about not too far from you, how about in Holland?
Yeah, so I went to Holland a couple of times. I really think it's such a beautiful place, and they also have an Irish session scene there because I was there, but I was only there for like 2 days, and someone saw that I was in Holland, so they sent a message on Facebook saying, "Oh, come to the session." And I unfortunately hadn't got my flute with me, but there's a really, really good scene of music over there as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed my time in Amsterdam, and yeah, it's really beautiful over there.
What kind of music do you like to listen to, other than, you know, obviously the music that you play, which is spectacular? Isigari in Barcelona saying she's loving it as well. Everybody's just praising left and right. Juanita in South Africa says, you know, can listen to you the whole day, loving it. Willie Hearts. Alessandro says, is this... Yeah, hop. What is that word?
It's an Irish thing. Whenever you are enjoying something, you say hop. Yeah. So like whenever someone's like in an Irish music session and they're playing, you'll just go like go hop like that. And it's just kind of like a celebration of like you want to express that you're enjoying yourself, so you just go hop.
I've got to write that one down. And crack. Well, it was really. I was marching in the St. Patrick's Day parade. 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, I was invited to march in the St. Patrick's Day parade in New York City, up Fifth Avenue and the whole thing. It was fantastic. It was really great. And I have friends that were with County Cork.
Oh, yeah.
So they said, well, come march with us. I said, okay, sure. Yeah. So, you know, I marched, and what was really funny was, because I didn't know this phrase, but we're marching down Fifth Avenue and waving and saying hi to everybody, and everybody's greeting and clapping and having an awesome time as we're marching. So I'm marching. I got invited for some reason to march with the Cork representation. So I marched with them. It was a lot of fun, and we had a blast, lots of crack. And I hear the folks along the city streets saying up something, up, up, up. So I kept hearing it, and I'm like waving and waving. And I said to, you know, the people that we were marching with, I said, are they actually saying, because it sounded to me like it, because I wasn't familiar with the expression up, whatever. Yeah. So I said, we're marching, and it's St. Patrick's Day, and we're all happy, and we're waving and smiling at them and all the little children and the whole thing. Are they telling us up yours? Are they? It sounds like they're saying up yours. So we're like, you too. You know, it's like, and they're like, no, that's not what they're saying. They're saying up Cork.
Oh my God,
up Cork, like up Cork.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's brilliant.
You mean so that lady over there didn't just say up yours? No, up Cork.
Oh, that's really funny. Yeah, because we do say that. My county is Armagh. It's spelled A-R-M-A-G-H, Armagh. And so like whenever you're at football matches, you'll say up Armagh, up Armagh. And then it sounds funny because in Ireland also, ma is another word for mother. Yes. So it's like an way of saying mother. So it sounds like saying up our ma, like up our mother. So it's such a random thing. Up Armagh, up Armagh. It's a really
over here that would mean something a little bit different.
Oh, really?
Up Armagh. A little bit. You'd have to explain it a little bit. Yeah, just like I had to explain crack when I said, you know, we did a lot of crack last night on the show. They're like, what? No, not that. CRAIC. Good times, jolly, fun. You know?
I love your hat, by the way. It's a nice hat.
Thank you very much. Cool. Yeah, I'm a hat guy. I got a lot of different hats. So I've been wearing this one a lot on the show, on the series, and people are saying they like it. Yeah, we got the Irish green sweater on, and we got the green font. Nice. We're celebrating everything Irish today here. So, you know, when you look at all of this, like you say, you've had so many pinch yourself moments, Eimear. You're truly blessed, I'm sure, and you realize the joys and the blessings of life and the ability to be able to, you know, inspire people through your music and touch people so deeply. Like you said, the music that really touches you the most is the music that has some depth to it and some warmth to it and really, you know, reaches people at the core And that's a real reflection of who you are and the type of person you are, you know, heart-centric and soulful, that you really don't want to just play music just for the sound of it, or just, you know, you can play something quick and funny just for the sound of it and the quick smile, but you tend to be drawn to music that has a real message and a depth that connects to people's hearts and souls in a really deep, long-lasting way, right?
Yeah, and interesting you said that, because the album, my album, the debut album, was titled, I titled it Inish, and Inish stands for island in Irish. So I have to be careful of my accent, because a lot of people don't understand me when I say certain words, but island, as in, so not Ireland, but island.
Yeah.
Yeah, ISLAND, yeah.
Right. Like island of Bermuda or something, like an island, yeah.
Yeah. So Inish is Irish for island, so not Ireland, island. And I titled my album that, and the reason why, so that the first track of the album was my first ever composition. Really, it was the first ever composition that I would be okay to say that it's a composition. You know, before that was stuff that I was just messing about with. So Inish was a piece I composed when I was going through a really, really tough breakup. So I think I was maybe in my early 20s, so like maybe 22 or 23, something like that. And I had been in a relationship for 6 years, and it ended. And I kind of felt really like isolated and upset, and it was a tough time, as you know, most people have when they break up with somebody. And it was interesting, because this piece came from that sad, isolated time, and I didn't even try to compose something. It just came to my head, a little bit like Mushroom Tree. It appeared in my head, and this melody was there. And when I was trying to think about a title of it, the title that I thought was that suited it most was Island, because I think sometimes we can feel really disconnected and isolated, and that's a horrible feeling. But if you think of like an island in the middle of water, there's always water surrounding the island and then connecting it to another island. So in a way, it's like you can look at it two different ways. The island can make you feel really isolated when you look out and there's nothing there. But then if you just remember that water, it takes you to another island, and there's another way of connecting. Like, then it's like it's a two-way thing. So, for example, the piece that I wrote, the start of it is the bit where I feel isolated, and then it goes into jolly bit, and then that's where I feel more connected and remember that we're all sort of in it together. And in some ways it's kind of linked a little bit to how I'm feeling in this lockdown.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just feel like really low and find it really, really difficult. And then you just need to remember that it'll pass, and then we'll all be together again. And, you know, so like in the piece, I'll play a little bit for you if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, so it starts off quite, you know, painful, and then it goes into the jolly bit. And yeah, I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but it's just a way to remember that we're not alone. Like, there's always like water surrounding the island and other people surrounding that. And sometimes when you're feeling completely
that's a really, I think that way too. I think in ways that go deeper. We've talked about it on this show. I think about things, and probably why we're creative people, that go beyond just the surface. Like, you're probably very visual. You probably feel things deeply. You see things deeply. And there's an expression for that. And I've heard it described of myself, and I am sensing this, and I've sensed it from you when we've been together at the various events and things of that nature. You sort of operate from a higher consciousness. You know, you see color more vividly, you really hear sound and instruments more deeply, you feel things more deeply and profoundly, and that ability translates into your expression of the music, whether you're interpreting somebody else's music or it's your own compositions or things that you're creating through your living of life and your observations of everyday life and the craziness of life and the beauty of life. And whether it's a sun setting in the ocean, or again, like you say, we're never alone, or we're feeling like we're the island. The water is all of that support and love wrapping around us, just like a blanket wrapping around us, like a cocoon. I think it really, again, goes back to your understanding of the human condition, the understanding of people and what life's really all about and what truly matters most in life. And that's how you're able to say these different things, even as funny as it was, still coming up with the whole story about the mushroom tree and identifying with this tree and this whole idea of that. You see things and feel things in a more profound, deeper way that, again, is expressed through your talent and your music.
Yeah, no, I definitely think I love having that thing to be able to let it out. It makes me feel, because I mean, I love talking about things a lot, but it's even sometimes it's hard to describe things. Yeah. Whereas if you play it, you feel like maybe the other person's going to connect with it without you having to explain it, that sort of way. So should I play a little bit of Inish?
Absolutely, that would be fantastic. We would love that.
I mean, it sounds obviously very different without the harp. there's a harp at the start with it, and then there's an orchestra and stuff. But I'll give you a little bit of it anyway. So I'll play the slow bit, which is the sort of bit where you feel a bit painful and isolated, and then I'll play a bit on the fast bit on the whistle, which is where it's like we all have to party again, and we all sort of like get back to where we were before, sort of thing.
You got it.
Okay. And then it goes into the fast bit. So I mean, the middle bit has like loads of boron and drums and like loads of percussion, and my sister plays fiddle with me on it, and it's the big party bit, and then the first bit's like the harp and it's quite strings and stuff. So there are two different sides of it, like and I guess looking at this situation of isolation, and the slow bit's the bit where you just feel really upset and it's sad and everything going on then, but we just know that party will come. That next bit will come, and when everything is back hopefully to normal at some point, and hopefully not too far in the future, we can all keep our images and minds on that future, and knowing that we will get back to connecting again, where we can all be able to give each other hugs and properly be in that place where we're all back to where we were before. But
Absolutely. Yeah. I've even said, and we talked about it on the show too, that, I'm hoping that when things hopefully, calm down throughout the world, because there's so many things going on, the economic situation, the civil unrest, and the pandemic, and things we would never, when we were celebrating New Year's Eve and going from 2019 to 2020, there was all this hope and all of this. I know a lot of people, that artists too, who have said, oh, 2020 was going to be my big year. I had all these things to do and all these great things happening. And now we've had, 8 months plus of reevaluating too. A lot of people have been doing that. Have you been pausing to reevaluate your life and what you've done thus far and where you want to go, and some of the things you want to do and the things that make you happy? A lot of people have been doing that. A lot of people have been saying, not just artists, just people, everyday people, just pausing and saying, I think I really want to do this now. I've never got a chance to do that, or I've always wanted to try that and never got a chance to try that, or what I was doing really wasn't making me happy. Now I want to do what makes me happy. Have you been reevaluating and just taking a look at your life during this time of pause?
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. And that's really important for everyone to have that little break and slow down time where that, you can think about it, because as everyone in life, it's not even just musicians' lives, everyone's, just we get carried away without even realizing it, day by day by day by day. And it's not often, as you say, we have time to reflect and to see what comes next. I actually kind of had already been thinking about that because of my lung problem. So when my lung problem started like in September of last year, and then thankfully the last month I've almost back to normal. But it was a very long year of lots of tests and lots of questioning of my future. And in March time, when I was planning to take the month off, I started to think at one point I was worried that my lungs would never get back to normal, because I have some scarring on my lungs, and the scarring it's irreversible. You can't get rid of the scars, but you can get your capacity back, which is what I've been doing. I've actually, you'll find this funny, I've got my I have to have this, so I have to suck into this, and this is my exercises every day to build up my lungs. So you have to go like this, and then the balls lift. And at the start, I couldn't lift them, and then now, it's improved so much. But basically, around that time, I started thinking, maybe is this a sign? Is it time for something next? Do I basically? I had a massive reflecting time then, and I absolutely. I'm obsessed with elephants. I love elephants so much. I've loved elephants since I was a tiny girl. I even have a school picture of my school uniform with an elephant necklace around my neck. I'm just always loved them. A bit like the flute. Just from a young age, I loved flutes and elephants. That was all I loved, and still do. And I started thinking maybe I need to spend some time volunteering, maybe in an elephant orphanage. Maybe that's something that maybe I should do instead of playing the flute. If I can't play the flute, I started thinking maybe I can never play the flute again. What would I do? And the only thing that I would want to do would be spend time with elephants, helping elephants, or do something with elephants. But then whenever the lockdown continued and Easter, when I really was so restless, I realized that I couldn't not be a performer. It's something I could never live without. I really I'm not myself if I'm not performing. So I definitely do want to do the elephants and take some time to go to the orphanage when I'm allowed to, with the rules and stuff. But it did make me realize that I am doing what I love. And I actually, the only thing I said to you earlier, I really would love to do to get into the film world. That's something that I really passionately think that I connect with most. So that's, I guess, beforehand I was doing lots of concerts, lots of touring with classical orchestras and with different groups. And now my focus is trying to find a way to get into that film world where I can hopefully go down that avenue. That would make me really happy to connect with that side of it. But definitely still want to perform. I get I just feel like I lose the purpose of who I am if I'm not performing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that I've been chatting with on this series that because it's been going on so long, they're sort of losing the essence of themselves. Also because of the love of the response from an audience, hearing them clap
Yeah,
and cheer and celebrate and sing along or hum along, whatever it may be, that it's hard to sort of recreate that. Even sometimes on the internet, it's hard to create it as opposed to when you're there and you see the faces and there's just that whole vibe, that whole feeling.
yeah.
Some of that, you've missed some of that as well along the way, I'm sure.
The audience is so much. It's just a different situation. It's like, what is it that saying about a tree in a forest? If a tree falls down in a forest, if you're not there, did it fall down? Like it's like if the audience isn't there in the room with you, it doesn't even matter if you know that they're going to watch it online or even now watching it online. There's something about the energy in a room of people together that is a different feeling, and it's like there's like it's even like I don't like having a music stand, for example, in front of me because I feel like that's a barrier
Right.
from the audience. So basically any barrier not having the audience there is a barrier. So whether it's the online or whatever situation that's prevents you having the audience there, it's just not the same feeling. Like the energy they give you is as important as the energy you give them. You know what I mean? So like, I can't be a performer without an audience. An audience can't be an audience without a performer. It's a two-way thing, and I think each are as valuable as each other. You know what I mean? Like, right. I'm getting something from them, they're getting something from me, and it's a nice communication that I think is everyone in the room is getting something from it. You know what I mean? And I love that. Like, I miss audiences so much. It's just really difficult without that.
Without that actual, the feedback and the sound. And well, we sort of have an audience here because Juanita in South Africa says we have lots of elephants in South Africa.
Do you know what? I have an adopted elephant in South Africa. I adopted one. Yeah.
Is there a name? Does it have a name?
The Wadi. Said Iwadi. Yeah, and I get updates all the time. They do videos, and I get to see the elephant. But there's a group of elephants. My elephant, she actually very sadly had was abandoned, and then had loads of fits and stuff. And now she's doing so well. I get all these information on how well she's doing, and get to watch her getting her milk fed with her milk, and it's just I went to South Africa once. I went to a massive the safari parks, and I got to meet elephants, and like I was the happiest person in the world that day when I was in this big truck, and this huge elephant came right up to me, and I was convinced it was because she could feel my energy, but like she didn't go anywhere around the earth, and just there, and she just stood there, and I was like it was amazing. I love elephants so much. I do, really do.
That is amazing. Juanita also has a question. Would it be easier for a child, like I guess age 6, to start out with learning recorder in order to play flute, or start with flute from the beginning?
Well, I started flute when I was 7, and I think 6 is if they're a tall 6, then they're fine. If they're a particularly petite 6, it's harder because of the stretch. But you can get flutes that have a curved head. So my first flute was a child beginner one, which had a curved head joint, so you didn't have to stretch your arms as long. So I think they could probably start the flute. I started when I was 7, so hopefully they can just start with the flute. The recorder I played at school, but it's kind of like different fingering, and it's actually quite different to the flute. So I would say, if possible, flute, if she can.
Are there other instruments too that have interested you along the way other than the flute?
Well, this is funny. My sister's violin teacher decided that if I wanted to, do music seriously, that it would be very helpful for me to learn the piano. So she taught me piano, and oh my, I was awful. I was so bad. I just couldn't play it. Like, I practiced, and it wouldn't matter if I practiced 24/7. I could not play well. Like, I was not musical on the piano. It just didn't connect with me. So I could play it the notes right, and I did my grades up until grade 6, but I just felt so like bad at it, and it like I think some instruments just really suit you and some don't, and that is advice I would say to parents if their kids are starting, and maybe they might be really not suited to one instrument, but actually could be suited to another instrument. So maybe I think it's good to just remember that for kids, because sometimes like they might think, oh my God, I'm really bad. And I was so bad at piano. And if I had learned piano first, I probably would have thought, oh, I'm not musical, or I'm a terrible musician. But it was just because piano, I just couldn't seem to, like, I knew what I wanted to do, but my hands couldn't do it. I was like so unmusical.
It's funny how that works, right?
And then there's some people who are so talented, they play 4 different instruments really well. I think that's just incredible. Yeah. I don't know how people can like just play so many different instruments and entirely different instruments well, but definitely not me. It's just flute. I can't, yeah.
Multi-instrumentalists. I know, it's absolutely amazing, and oftentimes comes so naturally for them too. They just take to it. I think we were talking about briefly some other music that you like to listen to. Like if we were to go to your CD player or what have you, what kind of music do you just randomly like to listen to during the course of your day, Eimear?
At the moment, it would be very influenced by my boyfriend's choice of music, which is actually really similar to my dad's choice of music. And so, like,
if your boyfriend was a musician too.
He's a well, he was a drummer originally when he was younger, but then he decided to be an audio designer instead. So he designs all of the specification for big events, right. the music side of it. But he would be really he's got me listening to a load of music that I wouldn't normally. And one of the guys is I love Dire Straits. I love that. I love Dire Straits. I love the guy, what's his name? Billy. I always get it wrong. I always say the wrong one because there's 2 different Billies. I always say the wrong one, so I'm gonna just check. Billy Joel.
Oh, Billy Joel, yeah.
Sure. Billy Joel at the moment. I love Dire Straits. I mean U2. You can't go wrong with U2. I do like U2. I listen to a lot of Hans Zimmer from Gladiator. Oh yeah. I love Gladiator soundtrack. I also really love Forrest Gump. One of the some stuff. I really love film music. I'm just having a look on here because I was listening to stuff today. Oh, there's a singer called Sia. She's Australian. Fantastic. I love her stuff. What else on here? U2. I like Sting. I love Sting. Lenny Kravitz. Love some of his stuff. Muse. I would listen to a lot of Muse because I think they're really creative with they're actually really they're classically trained as well. So yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but quite a REM, like REM. But yeah, quite a mixture really.
U2, groups like that too.
Yeah.
They go back a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
How about the Beatles and all of the classic? You like that too?
Yeah, I mean the Beatles are legendary for sure. But you know what I do love? Paul Simon. You know the album
Simon and Garfunkel, or there's just Paul Simon by himself because he did a solo career too. Yeah the
one You Can Call Me Al, Graceland.
Oh,
that is amazing. Love that album. In fact, that will probably be one of the ones if I want to just like be cheery and happy, I'll put on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. What about Christmas music? Do you like to listen to and or play Christmas music?
I love Christmas music. I love Christmas so much, and I love getting the playlist out and putting all the Christmas ones on. But yeah, the Pogues would be one of the ones that the Fairy Tale in New York. It's got the tin whistle solo. Yeah. So often, like if I'm out or doing something, they'll be like, "Oh, go and play your tin whistle along with this." And I actually did a gig that with so the Pogues. They were doing like a main headline, and the band I was playing in at the time was the warm-up act, the support act. So I actually got to meet can't think of his name now, from the Pogues. Anyway, but yeah, I got to meet him because that's a great song. I mean, that's got to be the best.
Yeah. Song ever, right? Phil Coulter's done some music, beautiful Christmas music as well with his albums.
Yeah.
Orchestra, over the years. And James Galway as well. Beautiful. Yeah. Would you do a Christmas album of Christmas music?
I never really thought about it. I mean, I love playing stuff like I bizarrely something simple, Silent Night on the flute. I really love playing that. I love.
Are you able to play that now at all? Some of the artists have been playing Christmas music to cheer up the viewers with all this.
Gosh, I have a feeling that sometimes it's the simplest piece and then you play it wrong and it's like, what? How did I just do that? So I'm feeling I might not be able to, but let me try. Let's see. Okay, this is going to be so embarrassing if I can't play Silent Night. I'm going to try. Oh, I don't know, I'm afraid. Okay. Yay!
That was brilliant. You nailed it. You knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
High five.
Bye.
You did it. It was awesome. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Yeah, that was really good.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Christmas one?
Huh?
What's your favorite Christmas piece?
That's a beautiful one. Oh, come all ye faithful.
Oh, yeah, it's a
Oh,
good one too.
come all ye faithful. Yeah. I've always liked that one. What's the other one? Angels We Have Heard on High.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Nice one too. Let's see. Deck the Halls is always a fun one too.
Yeah, we did that at Carnegie Hall, didn't we? I think.
You deck the halls, right? That's right. Deck the halls.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you? What are your favorites? Do you have favorites?
I like in the bleak midwinter.
Oh, yeah.
There's another one I just can't think of. It's funny because once I start to think of Christmas, they'll all come flooding back. But because I haven't even thought about it, I just feel like I've got a blank.
It's coming quickly. Here we are in November already.
Yeah,
Hard to believe.
Say that because you're right. It isn't far away at all. We're in November now. Yeah, the time is just so surreal. Like it's
like you can't even like it's November and it's like, okay, well, it still feels like October. It's hard to put like dates. For some reason I keep rushing the weeks. Like when I get to about Wednesday, I keep thinking Wednesday's Thursday. And then when I'm on Thursday, I keep thinking it's Friday. Like I'm trying to push this year through forward.
Yeah. For sure.
Merlin in Canada, and listening to you, and thanks for doing that, my friend. That was very, very beautiful. Merlin in Canada, where she has snow around her, so it was perfect. Goosebumps from head to toe. As you were playing that. Juanita loving it, giving you Christmas trees and emojis.
Nice.
In South Africa and Barcelona, Spain, Isigari, Merry Christmas as well, and saying that's very pretty. Juanita, you mentioned about, I think it's her daughter, as far as the recorder versus the flute. She said that she is the daughter, I believe, is a very tall 6.
Oh, perfect. I'd say definitely go for flute.
So flute would be.
I'd go for flute.
Flute would be the one.
Because I was a small 7-year-old and I was fine at 7.
You were, yeah, 7 years old.
6, she'll be fine. But if she can get the curved head joint, the beginner kids curved head joint. So basically, it's just this bit here. You take it off, and then what happens? It's so this bit comes off, and then it's curved. So instead of being straight, this is curved, and then it means it's shorter. So yeah, that's what I started on. So if you can find a curved head joint, I'd definitely say start with flute if you can.
Start with flute. Merlin also asked quickly about other wind instruments, if you play other wind instruments.
So I tried to play the saxophone once, about 5 years ago. Someone was asking me to do a collaboration thing, and they had a saxophone, and they're like, "Oh, have a go at this." I could not get a sound out of it. I find it really difficult. So again, I think that sometimes if it's an instrument doesn't suit you, it doesn't suit you. So yeah, but
that would be probably the same for the flute and the flugelhorn and the trumpet, not the flute, the trumpet, flugelhorn, and tuba and things like that. Probably
not. Yeah, probably not, because it's just a whole different way of having your lips as well.
Yeah.
So I think like I know like one of my exes was a jazz trumpet player, and like I have a little try at his trumpet. It's quite alien, I find. So yeah, not for me.
Yeah. Juanita's is amazing, and she's thanking you. And Christine Clifton in North Carolina, USA. It was nice hearing you play Christmas music for us. I knew that. And Merlin mentioned the little drummer boy as well. That's one that's a really nice one too.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one from Home Alone. You know the film Home Alone? There's a really cool Christmas piece in that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
In fact, maybe that's the one that we did in Carnegie Hall. That was it. Not that was the one that we did. Yes, we did that.
That's Carol of the Bells.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great piece.
Yeah.
I love that.
I have a huge Christmas music collection. I've had it for years. Records, CDs, reel-to-reel tapes, cassettes. Big Christmas. Carol of the Bells. Yeah, and David Foster did a really cool version of that you still hear on the radio too. I think he only did it a few years ago. All instrumental and very like dominant and powerful sound, and really, really great. You know, it's another one. I think actually I heard Phil Coulter do it. I think it's on the Christmas CD I have of Phil Coulter's. The Snowman. There's one called.
Oh yeah, Walking in the Air.
Yeah, Walking in the
Let me see if I
That's
can
a beautiful one. Yeah.
I'll try. And then I'm not sure if I can play the next one.
That's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful.
My niece loves that piece. So my sister's daughter, she's my goddaughter. She's maybe 3 or 4, and I think she's 3. She loves that piece, Walking in the Air, and she loves the film. There's a TV film. They love that. Yeah,
there is. It's animated. It's animated, and there's no talking. It's all music.
Yeah, she loves it.
I saw that they aired it here. I think it comes from BBC or ITE or something. I think it was done in Europe and England or Scotland.
It was England, definitely.
Yeah. England, and they've aired it here, and it's all music, and it's just, and the way that I would recommend people see it. The way that it's done in terms of just the way they did the animation, it isn't like all high-tech digital and all that. It's almost as if it's like pencil drawings in a way that they did it, colored in. It's fantastic. That was, I saw that like years ago, and that stuck with me. And that was actually the first time I ever heard that song, that they used that in that piece. And that was really beautiful. Isigari says fantastic. And Juanita in South Africa says amazing and really, really beautiful stuff. And likes Carol of the Bells like you do too. And Irish 43, she likes Mary Did You Know? That's another great one too. So right now, what's a typical, other than coming on the Jim Masters show live, what's a typical day like for you, my friend? Is it whatever happens, or do you have a lot of things brewing that you're sort of creating and working towards and working on? Like a couple of people have said to me, well, even though we're sort of in this situation now, and God willing, we'll get through all of this healthy and together, they're working on some things now in preparation for hopefully when things start to open up and return, they'll already have some things raring to go that they can run with. You as well?
Well, so the traditional Irish duo, with the fiddle player, that we've been doing all the Irish music gigs together at the weekends since the lockdown stopped. So we have a lot of material that we want to record. So whenever we have the opportunity to record that, I'll be ready to get back into the studio and just get that done. The Chinese collaboration at the moment, it's an ongoing project. So I am still researching different pieces. I'm learning pieces by ear. I'm getting to know the culture. I started composing a piece on the bamboo flute, which I need to finish. So that's on my to-do list. And then I don't know if you can see, but I have a jigsaw here. It's the London Underground tube. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know. So the London Underground, can you see any of that? Maybe it's a bit blurry, is it?
Yeah, no, we see it.
Yeah, so I'm kind of stuck because at the moment it's got the I've done all the bits that are easy, like all of the stops, the tube stops, but now it's all the white bits that's really time consuming and really boring because it's just like, it's like trial and error. So I think what I've been trying to do mainly is slow down. Like I'm always the type of person who's go, on the go. Yeah. And I'm having to learn to adjust to slow down. And I don't think it's a bad thing for me. I think I think it's good that I'm like trying to just take a step back and kind of save my energy for the next chapter and just appreciate the time when I can. I'm seeing like I went to the sea just to like get out of London and went to the beach. I'm doing Pilates, which is it's a bit like yoga, but I'm sure you know Pilates. Yeah. I'm doing Pilates because
deep breathing too.
Deep breathing and moving, like stretching and all that stuff, because it's good for your posture, and especially as a flute player, it's important to make sure that you have like all of that, like over time, you can get bad posture. And so the Pilates is good for that. And it's something that I meant to do, but never had time to do. So I'm doing like
too, Qigong, the ancient one from China, Qigong. That's really cool too. Qigong. It's, that's very based on breathing. We've been doing that a lot. Actually, there was a public television special that that's when I first really learned about it. Was co-hosting that in New York. And it's all these different movements and slow and breathing and balance. It's very big about your balance, very focused on your balance, and really, really cool. Very ancient from China. Really amazing. All of these things are really, really cool. My mother's mother, so that would be my great-grandmother, Hilma Halvortson. My mother's mother, so that would be my mother's grandmother, my great-grandmother, came from Sweden. She's from Sweden. And Gothenburg, Sweden. And she grew up actually in a castle in Sweden. She was a princess, part of the Swedish royal family in Sweden, which is cool. They settled in Boston, Massachusetts. But my mother had mentioned, my mother is the youngest of 16.
Oh, wow. That's
It's
amazing.
it's always the reaction. I know, the youngest.
Yeah, because mine's like, my dad was like 8 kids, so 16.
The youngest of 16. And she said that my great-grandmother, Hilma, would, you're talking about posture, to teach all the kids posture, they would have to walk with a book on their head and balance the book. So you'd stay up straight, you know, as you're balancing the book, and you can't drop the book. And that was how they were back then, you know, showing posture, because posture really is so important, especially when you're doing an instrument, but it's so good just for your back and your spine, but especially because doesn't it sort of expand the lungs, the diaphragm, everything is sort of elongated, because you really need a lot of air to, you know, make the sound that you make.
Yeah, no, it's really important to make sure that you think about your body. It's not going to be like around forever if you don't look after it. So it's really important, especially as a musician, I think, to remember those things now. And this is the perfect time to actually do that when I have the time. And then hopefully I'll continue to do it, because I'll get into a habit and I'll know how important it is. And maybe I'll not, you know, I'll spend more time focusing on things like that in the future as well, I think.
A lot of them have been saying, a lot of our Lovities, our viewers, and they've also said you're now one of our Lovities. They've inducted you into the Jim Masters Show Live Lovity Hall. So you are one of our Lovities here on the show. They said they're so happy that you're healthy and able to play. Have you been playing, trying to limit it a little bit as things heal, still continue to heal?
Well, I think automatically I'm doing less anyway, because I don't have as much preparation at the moment. So like normally I'd have to do a lot of practice for concerts to learn pieces, whereas at the moment the stuff that I'm doing, it's my choice, so I can choose how many hours I want to do or how many hours I don't want to do. So I think that's definitely helpful in this time to recover like over time slowly. And it's one of the blessings that I guess I've been lucky to have had the time off while the lung situation was the problem. But yeah, like I kind of think also to a certain extent, my lungs are better than they would be if I didn't play the flute. So, for example, the chest specialist said, like my lung capacity, the number that they expected would be a lot higher than most people, because you've trained your lungs over a long time. So, I guess in some ways, I'm lucky too, because they're in a better, they're better equipped to have a problem, I think, to deal with it. So, like, yeah, I think it's important just to look after our bodies, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that you do to prepare? Do you do mouth exercises? Do you gargle with warm water? Are there different things you do to keep yourself trained and healthy and prepared physically?
I didn't before, but now I do. So my chest specialist also said that I should inhale with eucalyptus oil every morning. Yeah. So it stops inflammation and it cleans out your airways. Yeah. So I have like a steam inhaler thing. So I do that every morning. And I also take a turmeric. It's supposed to help inflammation as well. And vitamin D, because apparently, well, especially in the UK, the vitamin D level of the majority is way below average, because we don't get very much sun. So it's really important to take vitamin D, especially at these times as well, because it apparently it helps respiratory issues as well. So yeah, I guess those sort of things I have to remember.
I like that. I'm going to write that one down too. Vitamin.
Vitamin D.
We would say vitamin. Vitamin D and vitamin. I like that. Vitamin. I have to check with my father and see if they say vitamin. You know, that's really, really true. And actually, they were saying something recently that a lot of people that have had COVID-19, when they've run tests, have also been very low in vitamin D. They've been very low in it. So increasing it, it's really, really good for your bones. So There's a little health tip live from London, everybody. A little bonus on the Jim Masters show. But what would you say quickly before we wrap, my friend? Because we've been very gracious with all the time, and it's been so, I've missed you, and it's been so great to catch up with you, and I can't wait till we get together again. At some point, it would be really, really cool to break bread with you and everybody again. But what would you say to somebody who is watching, whether they're watching live around the world right now, or they watch this later on in the archives on our YouTube channel, who is maybe considering a career in music, specifically maybe the flute, or just a career in the music world? What would you say to a young person who is watching this and they're inspired and they're thinking about it? It's obviously, and one thing that we've said often on this show is one of the keys to what we do as creative people in our various roles is to make everything look effortless and make it look easier than it really, really is. And that's why people will often say, oh, I can do that. And that, let me just have that thing and I can do it, or I can stand there and say that and do. But there's so much training and so much time and sacrifice, and blood, sweat, and tears that goes into all of it. So if somebody is watching and they're considering going into this line of work and pleasure, what would you say to somebody like that watching?
So I think you've made really extremely important points. And it's definitely not easy at all. It's actually really quite difficult. But I think the most important thing to know is that if you really love it and you really want to do it, then you should basically do anything you can to make it happen. That's what I think. So like when I was younger, I guess most people told me that it was impossible to make a career as a flute soloist, or make a career doing what I do, Irish and classical. Or even when I was a kid, my people told me not to play the Irish flute because it would affect my classical flute. And my mom thankfully didn't listen and let me do it anyway. And I wouldn't have the career today that I have if I had listened to that advice. So my advice is always try and do what your mind and your heart, your gut says. If you feel really strongly that you have passion to want to have a music career, then just follow that passion and work hard and don't give up. Because everyone, there will be many struggles. I mean, it's just the way it is. There'll be lots of knockbacks where you won't get anywhere in a competition, or you'll have a bad day where you don't play as well as you wanted to, or you'll not get an audition that somebody else did. And also one thing I would say is don't ever compare yourself to anyone else. That would probably be my biggest advice. But firstly, do it. Don't listen to anyone. If anyone's been negative or not supportive, just prove them wrong. Because I've had a lot of people like that, and it was sometimes out of concern, they were worried that they want a secure life for you, and if they worry and they think that you can't have that, but you can have it. You just have to believe in yourself, do whatever it takes to commit to it, and practice as much as you can, and just try and just follow your passion. And I think you won't go wrong if you really, really want to do it. You'll find a way to do it. But don't compare yourself to others. I think that's something that I learned along the way. It's everyone's on a different path. Everyone's on a different journey. Nobody's better than anyone else. Everyone has different things to offer. Every single person on the planet has different things to offer, and we're all unique people in every way. So the worst thing you can ever do is compare yourself to anyone. So that would be my biggest bit of advice.
Spot on. Brilliantly said. That is so very, very true. Be true to yourself, true to your heart, true to your passion, and then run with it. Not every day is going to be perfect, and not every day is going to be a smooth sailing situation, but just pick yourself back up if it's something you really want to do and something you love and passionate about, and it's a way for you to express who you are. Just keep going with it. Just keep going with it, as you have so beautifully, my friend. You've done it all these years and continue to do it in so many brilliant ways, and you've had all these wonderful experiences and opportunities, and you're so gracious and elegant about it all, which I think is also makes you extra special. This was really cool to have you here and to spend this nice sort of, well, afternoon here, evening for you. I'm glad we started at 3 Eastern, not our normal time 7, because you would be there with one eye open if it was like 2 a.m.
I am a night owl generally. I work better at night time than I do in the morning. So I'm glad it was evening and not morning. I'm definitely a night person. But thanks for having me on, Jim. And I actually really enjoyed it so much, and it's nice to be able to chat about it and actually like connect. And I really enjoyed all the questions you asked, and I enjoyed talking to you about it. And it's been nice to actually see you again and chat, like properly catch up. It doesn't even feel like a video in some ways. It just feels like we're chatting and catching up. And also your voice. I don't know if I've said this to you before, but you've got a really soothing, warm voice. Like it's really nice to listen to your voice. I don't know if anyone said that to you before, but it's a really nice voice to listen to.
Why, thank you very much. Yeah, probably from the, it's kind of cool. It's interesting because I use my voice so much on television and radio as a host, presenter, journalist, actor, and I do a lot of voiceover work and a lot of years on radio. So probably that, and as I've aged, my voice has lowered with time, which I was very excited about. and I think it probably comes from the voice is an instrument too, and I treat it as an instrument, like you treat your instrument so well. And I think maybe it's sort of fine-tuned and it's found its voice. But I appreciate that. A number of people have said that. What's really funny is when I call people, or when they call me on the phone and I answer it, I'll say hello, or I'll say Jim speaking. Sometimes they'll wait and they'll pause a beat because they think that they're hearing an answering machine. They think my voice is like the voicemail. And I said, no, it's really Jim. I'm here. I'm not the machine or the recording. This is me. It's my voice.
That's really
funny. It's funny. Some really beautiful comments. Juanita in South Africa, who's had a blast with us. Wonderful show. And thanks, guys. You are a delight and make beautiful music. Please take care of those lungs as well. Very, very nice. And Willie in Holland has loved it. Normally, when our show starts at 7 a.m., since she's in the Netherlands, for her, that's like 1 a.m. So this has been a great afternoon for her. And do you still have that water or whatever? We can do a toast. We always do a nice toast with our... I just have some in here. Sometimes we usually have a cocktail or something, but since it was early, I just have some nice coffee.
I feel like I should have, I've got a bottle of water, but I should have got a cocktail.
Cocktail too. Well, when we're together again,
yes,
we shall have that in person. We will save that for in person. And so people, if they want to get the CD, if they want to check out websites, places like that, where can they go, my friend?
So the album is on Amazon and I guess iTunes or whatever, all the different platforms.
Spotify and Amazon and Apple
Spotify.
Music.
Yes, it is. All of those, yeah. And it's called Inish, I-N-I-S. Oh, perfect. Gosh, you're ahead. And then my website is www.eimearmcgeown.com. So that would be normally where I have all the other information.
Perfect. And you can, if everybody looks at the screen right there, you can see the spelling of her name. And that your first name is beautiful and unique. Is it? Are you named after anybody in the family? It's not a name you hear, as often here in the States. It's very beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it's an Irish name, but it's not. My parents just really like the name, I think. But I know there's loads of mythical stories about the different characters. And Eimear was one of those names. There was Eimear, Maeve, loads of other ones as well. But yeah, no, there wasn't a story necessarily behind that, but it's really funny. My name, it's quite hard. It's spelled weirdly. So there's different ways of spelling it. You can spell it E-M-E-R, which would be easier. And it's kind of like the anglicized sort of way of spelling it. But in London, like everyone sees my name and they don't know how to say it. Sometimes I get Eimear and Eimear.
Eimear, yeah.
Apparently E-I-M-E-R is bucket in German. So my name is kind of bucket in German, which is funny. But somebody once said the best way to try and describe my name is to have the rhyming word, because if you say, like, everyone has a different accent. So if I try and tell an English person how to say my name, it's going to sound different in an Irish accent and an English accent. Sure. So the best way to say it is there's an animal called the lemur. And,
sure.
E-L-M-U-R, the lemur. You know, that's sort of like, is it black and white sort of?
Yeah.
So if you think of the lemur and then just take away the L, so however you say the animal's name, you take off the L and that's how you say my name. So how would you say that?
I like how you, well, you would say lemur. Yeah, just how you said it, lemur.
Yeah, take away the L.
So it's Eimear.
Yeah. So see, but obviously that was different in your accent to say, if I try and make you say it in my accent, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Although, having said that, the American accent's very similar to the Irish. It's the English one it's really different. The
English, yeah. I'm still thinking about the way you would use Elmo to say film.
Yeah,
like you went back to Sesame Street. That was really cool.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny sometimes where you get your links, you know, the way your head works.
Exactly. Well, you're absolutely the best, my friend. This was really fantastic. It was cool. We had great great conversation, viewers around the world commenting and being interactive, because I'm like you. I like to be very, viewer centric and bring the viewers in. And, as a host and presenter, I like to really bring everybody in and make them feel like they're a part of what we're experiencing on this show that we do all the time. And this was really amazing. And, thanks for all the time. Thanks for performing for us and sharing,
I really, really enjoyed it so much, Jim. Thank you. And thanks to all of the listeners as well. Really appreciate all the nice comments. It means a lot.
Lots of beautiful words. And if anybody wants to see this again, it's on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. You can share the links as well. And I wish you nothing but the very best, my friend. Keep doing what you're doing, making all the beautiful music, continue inspiration and blessing and joy in your life. You're a beautiful soul inside and out. I'm glad that our paths have crossed personally in life and professionally in life, and now here on this show as well, which is awesome. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I did.
I absolutely loved it, Jim. It exceeded my expectations, and sometimes I think it can be difficult to be in the right frame of mind. But this, I was excited to come on and to share the stories and chat with you, and I really enjoyed it so much. So you helped make my evening a really nice evening. So thank you for that.
Oh, that's my pleasure, my friend. And one more comment coming in here from Christine. Eimear, thanks for sharing your talents on flute with us today. Enjoyed learning more about you. Cheers to you. A fantastic show. And you were lovely. And Willie and Holland, thank you, Eimear, for your music, and good night to you as well. You have beautiful holidays. We'll stay in touch. You're welcome back anytime. There's new music, different things going on. You're welcome back on the show anytime, my friend. And I hope we get a chance truly to see each other again real soon. It was a blessing having you with us tonight.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Jim. Good night. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Take care. Fantastic show. Wonderful person. And for those of you maybe who have learned about her for the very first time, that is terrific. Like having an opportunity to interview and share with you and converse with so many people who come from all walks of life and all different backgrounds. And in this case, she's a brilliant Irish flautist, somebody who can really translate her feelings about life and people and love and community through her music in such a beautiful way. And some of those clips were extraordinary. And also the live presentation, the live music that she shared with us was really nice. And I know I agree with her, and I agree with you guys. If she was doing a lot of film sound or film, film soundtracks, the real Irish way to say it, film, Northern Ireland, film soundtracks. That would be so cool. Could you imagine some of her brilliant compositions on movie scores? That would be fantastic. She's really brilliant. In addition to that, if you missed anything, if you joined us late, we had a lot of music on this show. She performed live from London, but also video material as well from her performing at some extraordinary events and presentations. Very, very cool. We thank again my dear friend Eimear McGeown to join us here on the program. Again, we've known each other for a long time, and it was a blessing to welcome her. And again, check her out online as well. Her fabulous music, as I mentioned, also her brilliant CD. Her CD is very, very cool, really beautiful. And again, just some more shots. We showed these earlier, but again, this was Carnegie Hall, of course, when we were all together there. That was the BBC Pops. This was at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. performing. This is with the incomparable Sir James Galway, another Irish flautist and brilliant legend. Some of the sessions that she's performed in as well. And of course, her brilliant career. She takes what she does seriously, but also has a wonderful time doing it. And of course, playing for the Queen, Her Majesty, was a brilliant opportunity for her as well. And again, I have so many more pictures that I could have shown, but just grab this one quickly. This is when we were all filming in Maine, the public television special Celtic Heart. I'm on the left there. Eimear's next to me, and then the whole gang. You've got everybody there. Lynn Hillary, the harp twins, Tim Janis in the middle, and all of our great talented friends are on stage there in York, Maine, filming some segments for Celtic Heart. And I had an opportunity as well, which was brilliant. I really enjoyed it, to MC the concert. But then we also did interviews for public television pledge breaks, which was a blessing. And also bonus DVD material. If you get the DVD for Celtic Heart, there's bonus material where I interview Eimear and interview the harp twins and interview Renee Nesbitt and Tim and all the great performers. That was fantastic as well. So I hope you guys had a good time, a good afternoon. I know in about an hour, it's going to be 7 p.m. There's going to be a few people who are going to be looking for us at 7, but we did try to announce, without being too repetitive, that we were going to be on starting at 3 on YouTube today. A lot of music on this episode, and it was a blessing. So hope you guys are doing well. We're going to go have some dinner. It's a little after 6 p.m. This was a fabulous night. We're not here tomorrow. That's why we did a little extended for you today. We're not here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Election Day in the United States of America. So if you haven't voted, do go out and vote. That's an honor and a privilege not everybody has around the world. So make sure you do that. And we're doing that as well. And our family doing it, and friends and colleagues. It's going to be a very busy day with the elections happening here in the United States. So rather than compete with the elections, because everybody's going to be listening to radio, everybody's going to be watching, they're going to be glued to the televisions tomorrow, all the networks. We will be glued to it as well to see what happens. It might not even be determined tomorrow. You never know. They have to count in. I think mail-in ballots have to be counted in as well. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be an interesting day, an unusual day, an extraordinary day tomorrow. So we will be off tomorrow. I have in my professional work radio shows I have to host, which I enjoy doing as well. So we'll be doing that. We won't be here tomorrow night, but we will be here on Wednesday with another amazing show as well, and a brilliant guest joining us. You can see that guest posted on our Facebook page at Jib Masters TV and also on YouTube. If you want to see some of the upcoming shows and guests right here on our YouTube channel, which is where we're broadcasting live right now, you can see some upcoming ones. Just want to let you know too, in terms of Irish themed guests, because our guests come from all walks of life, all backgrounds. They're not all music, they're not all performers. We have chefs that are coming on. We have health and wellness people coming on. Some of you have asked for a psychic medium. We got a lot of cool people coming on. But for those of you who are interested in following some more of the Irish music, coming up this Saturday, Oscar Blue is going to be here. And Oscar is extraordinary. He's 21 years old. He's a brilliant Irish singer and songwriter. He's going to be live from Dublin, Ireland, this coming Saturday, the 7th, live from Dublin this Saturday. That's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern, same time as this one was today. 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. It'll be 8 p.m. in Ireland. That's why we're doing it earlier, to accommodate the guests so it's not too late. There's a few of them we did in the early weeks of our show where we started at 7 p.m., but it was like midnight for them. So I said, you know what, let's adjust this, because, you know, it's kind of late for the guests that are in other time zones in other countries. And we've been getting a wealth of guests coming, international guests, which is very, very cool. So Oscar Blue is a brilliant Irish singer-songwriter. He's 21 years old. He's got a new CD out. He's really popular. He's going to be here live this Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. Western European time, which is Ireland, Scotland, England. For those of you in like Sweden and Finland and Norway and I believe Germany and Netherlands, other areas, Spain, France, I believe that will be 9 p.m. your time, although the clocks here went back an hour. Bruce Guyan is going to be here this Thursday. He is a brilliant performer. He's from the group Big Rain, folk and rock and country and soul and so much more. He's all excited, and he's going to perform live for us. This is really cool. This is an exclusive. And I'm so honored that he's going to be joining us here on the show this Thursday, which will be the 5th of November, this Thursday. Bruce is going to be here with his guitar and performing live for us. That's going to be awesome this Thursday. Coming up in December, I know this is a little distant, but not necessarily, because it's next month. Darren Holden is joining us. Darren Holden is another great friend of mine. I've interviewed him on television over the years. He's with the High Kings, another great group, very popular vocalists, Irish vocalists. And also he was a performer in Riverdance. Yes, he was with the original troupe of Riverdance and performed on Broadway in Riverdance. He makes his home with his wife and children in Ireland. He's going to be live joining us here in December. Look for it on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. It's already there posted, waiting, and on our Facebook page posted. So he will be here as well. Phil Coulter, who we referenced quite a bit this afternoon, this evening, whatever time of day it is where you are. Phil Coulter is going to be here, and that's going to be exciting. And he's going to be coming up in about 2 weeks, November 15th, Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. in Ireland, Scotland, and England, Western European time. Phil Coulter will be here live. He is a renowned multi-platinum winning recording artist, musician, songwriter, responsible. He's worked with Celtic Thunder and so many top performers, and he's going to be here. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And so many more performers. We have Roy Buckley going to be here. Corner Boy is going to be here. They're all very, very popular entertainers and performers. And then, of course, Glenn Scarpelli is going to be here. Glenn Scarpelli starred in One Day at a Time on CBS, the 1970s sitcom. That's him today. He's going to be here on November 11th, Wednesday, November 11th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on YouTube and Facebook. There he is when he was on the cover of 16 magazine as a kid during his years on One Day at a Time. So he's going to be here as well. Some more comments coming in. See you on Wednesday. Yes, we'll see you on Wednesday as we will be voting and participating in our national elections tomorrow. So we won't be here tomorrow, but we will be here Wednesday. We've got an amazing, amazing week of guests, and So many more guests. I think there's 3 or 4 more guests that popped on the show today that'll be coming up in future episodes. We're booking into the midweek of December right now and into January. We already have a couple of guests booked for January, which is amazing. We're going to do some holiday themed episodes as well as we get closer to the holidays. And Juanita says we'll definitely be looking for more music. Such a lovely person as well. Thanks, Jim, for bringing these people into our homes. Have a good night, everyone, and see you Wednesday. Juanita, just wanted to say, so very sorry that your family friend, your pet, the dog, passed away after, I think, 13 years, and you had to bury your dog. So condolences from us to you, and I hope you are doing well and your family is doing well. Sorry to hear that. You know, an animal, a pet, like a dog or a cat, is a beautiful thing. And I know how that feels when you lose that. So we're sending you lots of levity, Juanita, all the way from here in the United States, whoosh, across the ocean to where you are in beautiful South Africa. And if you missed it, those of you who might have missed it, my dear friend, our dear friend and wonderful guest and fabulous viewer and levity, viewer of the week, we announced a couple nights ago, Tesla Bella. Tesla Bella is our current viewer of the week. And we love her. And she sent those cookies, which are long gone. Remember those chocolate chip cookies I was showing you guys? Long gone. We took care of those. We took care of the Stroop waffles from Willie and the chocolate chip cookies from our wonderful friend, Tesla Bella. Viewer of the week. She's been doing a lot of cool things for our show behind the scenes. And we really honor that and we appreciate that. And she's been sharing links, telling everybody and some other cool things. So a lot of people wanting to help with the show. And some of you are doing that as well and sharing the links and telling everybody about it. And we really appreciate that as this show continues to grow and expand internationally. Just continue telling everybody and sharing the levity, which we designed 26 weeks ago. I was looking, I think it's like almost 180 shows we have done night after night. Truly amazing, truly amazing. So we're going to wrap. This is really a great show in our Irish green sweater, our warm sweater here as we were celebrating our wonderful guest. There she is again, Eimear McGeown. If you would like to learn more about her, check out her CD. Again, there you can see the spelling of her name. So if you're looking for it on the internet so you can get her music, there it is. Don't you like the backstory to that CD too? How they were able to take that shot out on the water in Northern Ireland, in Ireland. It was really, really cool. All right, gang, that's about it. Also, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, we would love it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel as we build it and build it and build it. That helps the show as well. And again, there you go. So if you're watching, that would be awesome. Jim Masters TV, feel free to share the links, share the levity. And then again, for the Halloween costume party that we were hoping to do, but then I got called away for a television assignment, which was really big and last minute. We'll try to do a show, maybe a pop-up show where we show some of those photos if we can. I'd love to do that. You guys really sent in some cool stuff, and I had some cool stuff to share as well. If you do have a suggestion for a guest, again, I have so many friends who've been suggesting guests, and we appreciate all of that. I find guests as well the next several nights, including today. Eimear is a friend of mine, so I welcomed her on, and we loved it. So many wonderful guests coming on from people that I know and from the worlds of TV and music, film, Broadway, Hollywood, all different areas. But if you have an idea, feel free to spread the word. It's all about levity and good vibes and so much more here on the show. And we have a good time. We certainly give our guests a fair amount of time as well. You couldn't buy this time that we give. It's pretty good. It's pretty extensive. But you really get a good sense of who the guests are, and you learn a little bit more about me, your host, and we learn more about all of you around the world, the viewers, the levities. So it's a great relationship, a nice symbiotic relationship we have here. There is the email address for the show if you want to suggest some guests. people maybe that you admire or that you know, or maybe people, they don't have to be famous, majorly famous, maybe people that are just doing good things in the world. We're always very big about positivity and inspiration here on this show. And I'm that way anyway. So there is jimmasterstv@gmail.com. I know many of you send a lot of different messages, and thanks for all the messages and the Facebook posts and the Instagram messages and Twitter retweeting. You guys are doing some really cool things. I really appreciate that a lot. And again, there's that YouTube channel as well. A couple more comments, and then we are going to wrap up and have dinner. Great show. Big election day tomorrow. C-Roll Wednesday. You too, Christine. Thanks for all that you do as well. Duly noted. Beautifully appreciated. Thanks, Jim. Was expected to happen sometime, but yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Sending you love. Sending you love. And thank you, Christine. And Carla, wonderful Monday night with Jim, gang, and Eimear. You were here. Oh, you were quiet, but that's okay. You know, not everybody that's watching posts, and that's perfectly fine. You don't always have to post when you watch. It's nice when we see what you're feeling and sharing, but you don't always feel like, oh, you have to post in order to watch our show. You can just watch our show and enjoy it, share it, tell everybody about it, share the links on your social media. We love that. Carla, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hope you're having a wonderful day there in beautiful South America, in Brazil. We love when you are here. Willie says, see you Wednesday. Thank you, Willie. If you're still there, Willie. There you go. There's your tulips, Willie. I know you love that. We have them right here next to us. And all your friends are here. Yeah, George and Jeannie and Gilligan and Silver and Jimmy. George is here. George Burns, the famous comedian. He says good night or good day to all of you. Some of you are just starting your day. Enjoy your meal. Thank you. We sure will. And Sunday evening, I like that. My English is running low. You're running out of English. Well, we'll help you with that, right? Today we talked about film, which was cool. My father says film. I think he now says film a little bit more, but still film is what wants to come out. And vitamin. I like the way she said vitamin. And here we would say vitamin. But it's cool when you hear people pronounce words differently. I'm always fascinated by language. I love languages. I love regionalisms. And I love pronunciations of things in different ways. All right. We've done enough talking, I think, for a day, because I was on the air today earlier with 2 radio shows back to back. And now we just did a 3-hour, 20-minute show here. And thanks for all the great levity, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. And I truly hope you are enjoying our series. Let me know how much you enjoy the Jim Masters Show live. We put a lot of time and effort into it. And we try to make it fun, entertaining, informative, and positive for you. And hey, that's what it's all about, right? That's what life is all about. Just as Gilligan says, too. Gilligan says, good night to you. Take care and you be well. Because having all of you here with us is truly a gift. I wish I can give you a gift. Hopefully the show that you have every day here, just about every day, is a gift for all of you. That's a wrap. We will see you on Wednesday. We will be here live at our regular times, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I hear dings and bells. I see all kinds of messages coming in from everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, Twitch, messages on YouTube, and Instagram as well. Cool. If you're looking to follow there as well, let's see. I think we've got something there that says that as well, right? Where is that one? There's so many different things here. There you go. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, Periscope, Twitch at Jim Masters TV as well. All right, lots of levity here on the Jim Masters Show live. Gang, if I keep talking, we're going to wind up at 7 o'clock and have to start a whole new show. Like your green sweater. Enjoy your dinner. Early good night to you as well. Levity. Thanks, Christine. Appreciate it. Green font, color, green sweater. Lots of Irish in the house right now. All right, gang, we're going to wrap up. We thank once again our brilliant guest, our beautiful guest, Eimear McGeown, she's wonderful. We love her. Tremendous talent and a dear friend. Thanks for joining us, gang. Don't forget to relax. I think last night I forgot to say this and do this, our usual routine. Don't forget to relax, breathe from the diaphragm. Eimear will certainly tell you to do that, right? Breathe from the diaphragm, get a good breath in there, relax, no matter what the news brings, what the day brings, try to be good to one another, love one another. Might sound Pollyanna, but what the heck, do it anyway. Love yourself too, as much as you love and share and care for others. Love yourself as well, and try to inspire, put smiles on people's faces, and relax. I got to remind myself to do that every once in a while too, to relax. And as usual, there's probably going to be a few people looking for us at 7 o'clock, like Jen is Zen and some of the others. We're not going to be there at 7 o'clock. Don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share the levity. And find your Zen place. Mine is with loving family and friends. My work in television, radio, and stage, as well as cycling and music and writing and creating, and the ocean. Although I wouldn't be on the ocean today, it was really windy and a little chilly in the northeastern United States today, but the ocean is still that place. All right, gang, we're going to wrap up. This is your host, Jim Masters. Thanking you for your time this time till next time. You have a good day tomorrow, Tuesday, and we will regroup. We'll have a whole fresh new episode of the Jim Masters Show live available for you and you and you and you and you on Wednesday. I hope you're here. Continue spreading the word. We love you all. You guys are amazing. This is really a blessing doing this show here. And good night. We will see you on Wednesday. You take care. All right. Bye-bye. See you, and thanks for watching the Jim Masters Show live. Good night.